All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Cardin Ellis. Today, I'm joined in the studio by a killer cast of cool people in Los Angeles, doing, again, some layovers in LA International Airport. We got Luke Hansen here in the studio, cool-headed Luke, sporting his what tie?
My Ward Radio tie.
Yeah, sporting his Ward Radio tie.
Which apparently come in different colors now?
No, they will be coming in different colors.
Okay.
And there's a very colorful person at church that I have offered one of the not very exciting person at church that I've offered a very excitingly colored tie to. It's a long story, but that's going to be in the merch store here. We also got Brittany the Shadow in the studio. And via Zoom, we're joined by some really cool folks. Let me see. Didn't have it pulled up there. There we are. We've got... I'm going to do men first. Just, got to support the patriarchy. Or maybe you just happen to be the one that was up first. You know what I'm saying? But we got Jonah Barnes, the Associate Professor of all things apocryphal. And we also got Rachel Patterson here from Women in Priesthood. And there's a controversy brew. We're going to be talking about this. Looks like our boy, Jared Halverson of the Unshaken Saints podcast / social media platform has made some waves. And some people are saying that Julie Hanks collected another scalp. Others are saying that, homeboy's building bridges. We don't know which one it is, but we're going to talk about it. So who's going to lead us off here?
Sounds like Unshaken was shaken.
That's what I said, Jonah. That's what I said.
I was going to say there was somebody that wanted to originally name this episode like Jared Halverson posts super based comments, then ... and there's others that said, yeah, don't call yourself Unshaken if you're going to do what we're going to talk about. But hey, we give grace on this show, and we're just going to analyze the controversy, see what's going on. So Luke, you're the editor-in-chief of Ward Radio News. Why don't you start us off? Tell us what's going on. Give me links in the Discord. We're going to let our audience know what's up, why this is a controversy, and we're going to go from there. So Luke, hit it.
All right. Well, Jared Halverson does a Come Follow Me type of podcast thing. Pretty long episodes up on the YouTube, and then puts up shorter things on Instagram.
Emphasis on the long. Like...
2 hours, 2.5.
He's the opposite of John DeLynn in terms of faithfulness, but like length of, oh my gosh. You want to try and dig up a quote from him? For like trying to dig up a quote from John DeLynn to debunk, like forces you to listen to 3.5 hours of something. At double speed, it's still nearly 2 hours. And you're like, dear heavens. And with Jared Halverson, great guy. But man, some of those episodes are long.
Cardin, are you saying that you wouldn't be able to talk for 3 hours because I think you could?
Hey, whoa! Ouch.
That was savage. The spirit
I'm not
quickeneth
saying
a
it's
man.
bad. I'm just saying you could talk a lot too.
The spirit quickeneth a man, but let me tell you, it quickeneth him. It's a lot. There and it's yes. Move on. Go, Lou.
Yeah, Brittany beat me too, but I was just going to comment on the irony of going on tangent to talk about how long other people's podcasts end up being. It was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
real,
Brutal.
So I know, why am I doing this when I'm in studio?
Yeah,
I should be in my own Zoom connection to do stuff like that. Anyway, so Jared Halverson puts up a Instagram reel
In the world.
and honestly, a couple of people that have watched it or had it explained to them are like, what's the problem? But apparently it was a huge problem, and it has gotten like 25 times more views than most of his other Instagram reels. He's like sitting at 4,000 to 6,000 usually. This one's at 150, 160,000 views right now. And he's getting blown up in the comments, including by Julie Hanks. So we are going to watch it from the beginning and try to ascertain what it was that he said that was so
it
horrible.
must have been very controversial.
I know, right?
Yeah. So before we watch it, let's just do some bingo here. Okay, a lot of us are going to be reacting to this completely just live. Rachel, have you seen these? I think you and Jonah haven't seen these yet, correct?
I've seen the posts.
Oh, okay, cool. So Jonah's going to be reacting to this completely live. I'm going to be reacting.
I've seen nothing.
You've seen nothing. Okay. I'm going to be reacting to a lot of this stuff completely live as well. I've seen some of these clips.
I was told there was going to be pizza here. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. There will be, we call it refreshments.
Okay.
They health and nourish and strengthen us.
Yes,
So, yeah.
exactly. We pray over the donuts to nourish and strengthen us in Mormonism, you know. So anyway, yeah, and by the way, just if any of you guys don't know who Jared Halverson is, like, all joking aside, this dude is like the epitome of harmless, honest inquisitor of like doctrine. He's been a seminary teacher for how long? Like,
Yeah, he seems like a
I
dream
don't know.
seminary teacher. Like good
Yeah.
intentions, heartfelt,
Like,
like really good.
and the only reason why I want to even talk about this today is because this absolutely smacks of weaponized empathy.
Yes.
And,
yeah, it sounds
and
like it.
The absolute cruelty that the spiritual terrorist woke scold cry bullies have over well-intentioned people. So apparently this guy, look, if you don't know who he is, okay, mix a Boy Scout's Boy Scout, okay, with OBS podcasting and scripture.
Cardin,
Okay.
I'm right here.
Yeah, exactly. This is
Be nice.
yes, this is a guy that makes Luke Hansen look wild. Okay.
Like a punk rocker.
Yeah, it makes Luke Hansen look like a punk rocker. Okay. He's the nicest dude. And frankly, I would venture as far as to say I know him personally. Okay. His father was a patriarch that gave my wife her patriarchal blessing. He's older than me. Okay. I believe he's the oldest brother of the family. But I was dance partners with his sister, for heaven's sakes, and played soccer with his brother for eons, and drove from seminary to high school with his other brother. This is a great man who has done absolutely nothing wrong, in my estimation, from what I've seen. Now, there's more I have to react to, but you would have to convince me that, like, Mahatma Gandhi beat up somebody. I would believe Gandhi beat up somebody in the church parking lot yesterday before I would believe this guy did something truly wrong, which leads me to think, and I admit my bias ahead of time, that this guy's getting lampooned by woke scolds and disingenuous actors who would rather try and twist earnest conversation and people trying to build bridges and just weaponize it against him. So I'm not ready to say that Jared Halverson did nothing wrong yet, because we're going to try and do our best to shed our biases and approach this with open arms. But dude, this guy's beyond a Boy Scout, okay? He's like Boy Scout plus, all right? So, babe, you put into the Discord the first, is this the, this one right here, Luke?
Yes.
This is it.
Yes, that should be it. Yep.
Look at the guy. He's a librarian mixed with a seminary teacher. Okay. We're just going to play it.
Good setup.
Yeah, good setup if you're trying to bore your audience to tears. But here, okay, let's see what he's got to say. Oh, wait, I guess we won't because the volume wasn't on. Here we go.
And not.
That I study faith loss and secularization and anti-religious rhetoric, you know that I'm trying to keep my finger on the pulse of people losing their faith around the world and doing whatever I can to try to resuscitate that faith. Well, as I've been studying books about this and reading articles and watching graphs and statistics, some of those statistics are pretty unsettling.
Okay, pause for copyright for a second. Keep going.
To watch the rise of the nuns, as they call it, N-O-N-E-S. No, this is not people flocking to the Catholic convent. Nun as in no religious affiliation. I'm a part of none. And that's been on the rise since about the 1990s. It's peaking in ways that we haven't quite seen before.
Okay, so far this is all factual.
Well, one of the statistics that has worried me most of late comes from a survey that was done in 2023. And it's suggesting that for the first time that I can think of, more women are leaving religion than men are. That's shocking to me as a historian of religion in America.
Okay, so far keeping it historical.
Because there was actually a great article I read in grad school called Religious History is Women's History. that women have always outnumbered men, not at the pulpit, but in the pew. And so often it's these sister saints organizing benevolent societies. Ours is called the Relief Society, doing incredible things. So much heavy lifting in the kingdom of God is done by God's daughters.
By the way, now I'm not even pausing for copyright. I'm pausing to remind you not to fall asleep and you haven't seen anything controversial yet.
Yeah,
have
this is
we?
super banal. What's going on?
Yeah. So apparently, Luke, you say there's controversy here.
You want me to tell you the most controversial thing that the comments have said that he said already that we've heard?
Oh,
Wait, maybe somebody should, like Rachel should guess it or Jonah should guess it.
No.
Guess it.
What was so offensive?
Guess it.
It's a sentence. What sentence did he say that was so controversial?
Resident.
Has he already said it?
Yeah, he's already said it.
It was so boring. I thought I was listening to Scripture Central for a second.
Oh, is it that
I
women
didn't
are
even remember.
leaving the church in high numbers?
Nope. Do you want me to just say it?
What is it?
Yeah.
Are we all on the edge of our seats right now?
Yeah. What?
He said that women throughout history have always been in the pew. Like, more women have been at church, but in the pews, not at the pulpit. So that's where the feminists are like, see, we never have leadership because we're not at the pulpit.
Hey, guess what?
Look, that's
Historically,
factually
there's been
correct.
more men in prison than women for thousands of years. Hey, what? That's bigotry. That's
It's
okay.
factually correct. He's right. I mean, that's just history.
It was like combined with him saying that women have had a super important role and they haven't been at the pew.
What, you know? Look, let's let him finish. Let's just keep going. Let's see. Oh my gosh.
I read a book once on the history of secularization in Great Britain in the 20th century. And one of the author's main points was religion seemed to collapse in Great Britain when women stopped coming to church. Men were a mixed bag, sometimes strong, sometimes weak, sometimes coming, sometimes leaving. But women seemed to hold steady, and they held the church up until they stopped doing that. And there wasn't much left to keep it afloat.
Okay. By the way, this just sounds like Russell M. Nelson saying we cannot lose the moral rectitude of women. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Sister saints, be aware of just how important you are in the kingdom of God. Each of you daughters of God, each of you elect ladies. And then prepare yourself for this caution in section 25, verse 10. Yes, it applies to men just as much, but I want you sisters to hear it with feminine ears. 25:10, to Emma Smith, verily I say unto thee that thou shalt lay aside the things of this world and seek for the things of a better world. In some ways, I'm asking you to sacrifice. Lay aside the things of this world.
Yeah, kind of sounds like the Apostle Paul. Keep going.
But in another way, I'm not asking for a sacrifice at all. It's not a sacrifice when you get more than you give. That's called an investment. And so invest in a better world by saving your stock and not putting it into this world. Those are all declining returns. You want an amazing return on investment? Then lay up treasures in heaven where moth and rust doth not corrupt.
Okay, so now we need to give Brittany and
what?
Rachel
What's
a
going on?
couple minutes to calm down from all that offense that was just
Hold me
given
back,
to them.
Luke, hold me back.
I know. Just breathe
Is that
through
really
it.
That was
was
it.
it.
really it?
That was
it.
the whole thing.
Jeez.
Apparently, feminists did not like that he said, listen with your feminine ears. He should have said, listen to your genderless masculine ears. I don't know. If anyone says I have masculine ears, I'm going to punch you in the face. Like, I don't want to be called that. So, feminine ears, I take no offense to that. I don't know why they're offended by that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wait, that was
Well, it's like women don't get any revelations. Women are never the prophet. Okay, this scripture is specifically for women, so how dare you say this scripture is for women?
They're never speaking about us. They never even acknowledge our mere existence. Okay, ladies, that's great. I want you to listen with feminine ears. Bigotry! The unmitigated bigotry! Oh my gosh!
Okay, can some fans-
Religion is harmful. I'm afraid of church.
Can some fan out there please do a supercut of all the times the Cardin has impersonated a feminist? Please.
Also, don't get
I
so
love
passionate
this
because when
impersonation.
Cardin yells, my feminine ears kind of hurt. So if you could just, not be so.
Okay.
Okay, so
masculine.
wait a minute. That's
Wait till you see the comments, bro. Say what you want to
come
say.
on.
Say
Really?
what you want to say, but then wait till you see
Okay,
the
hold
comments.
on. Another thing that they're mad about. So remember, first they were mad that throughout history women have been more in the pews than at the pulpit. So that was the first crime that he said. Second, they didn't like the feminine ears thing. Third, they didn't like that men are telling women that they have to be in servitude for the church because it's patriarchal. So don't tell me that we have to serve.
He didn't
Have
say
you guys
women-
heard of the Women on the Stand movement?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a line in that New York Times article where they say, like, women do the share of the work. We do a lot of, like, the lion's share of the work. We deserve to be represented, or we deserve to be visible. And that is like a line straight out of Betty Friedan's Feminine Mystique, which is basically like women have the invisible labor of the home, and that's why the home is actually oppressive to women. And they're just using the same like line. I've noticed they rehash the same line that, like, women are oppressed by the church because they do invisible labor, unpaid invisible labor.
That is so toxic. So you're immediately led to think that doing anything home-based is lesser and debasing and vulgar. Meanwhile, it's like the most beautiful and accomplished thing a human being can do that men cannot do.
Like, why are feminists so obsessed with, like, giving me more chores? Like, I want to bake bread. I want to make my man a sandwich. If that makes me a bad person, like, screw yourself.
Shut up, really?
Like, sure. Yeah. I'm actually
And
not that
also-
great at making sandwiches, but I try. Like, peanut butter and
I was about to
jelly,
say,
I got that.
your kamut bread's pretty good.
I love
but-
making
That's
bread.
true.
Like,
Yeah.
I love that.
But-
yeah.
Actually really good. That's true.
But the
Thank
thing
you.
And can I
is,
just say, I
But,
was
like,
just gonna say,
why are
this
they
is-
giving me more chores? Like, I don't want to sit on the pulpit, on the stand. Like, I don't want more responsibilities at church. Like, leave me alone. Stop giving me more chores. Freaking
And
feminists.
also, just for the record, this is the 180-degree opposite of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Being visible for all of your hard work is the complete opposite of Jesus Christ.
He criticized the Sadducees for being too visible in their
Yeah.
prayers. And if you
He said
want to
pray in
call
secret.
Yes, if
Yeah.
you want to call labors amongst your family and service that you render to your children and to your husband and to your loved ones, if that's lesser and vulgar and debased, what are you going to do when you crack a book and the Bible says the greatest among you will be what?
The servant.
Your
yes,
servant.
The last among you.
So if service is the measurement of greatness in Christianity, I can't think of a greater service one human being can render another on this earth than birthing them, than giving them life, than being the portal from which they come from another realm to this earth. Men can't do it. So who else is left?
Hey! I held her hand 6 times, and it hurt for like a few minutes afterwards. I was like, "Ow!"
Man,
Why did you
Jonah,
do that? She didn't have
I
to do
see
that.
you, Jonah. I see
Thank
your
you.
pain.
Okay,
Thank
well let's.
you.
Well, now,
before we put,
okay.
okay.
So we have, Rachel was talking about how you need to be visible, you need to be seen. But then when we start going hard into like appreciating mothers and talking about the special role that women have, which we totally should do and maybe do even more often, then they start complaining about like,
They get
oh,
so mad about
women
that
who
too.
aren't mothers. And then like my ward last year basically didn't celebrate Mother's Day because it would make other women feel bad.
Yeah.
So like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Okay.
Or danged if you do or danged if you don't.
In the top 30 rules of
Whatever.
anti-Mormons, I believe it's one of the first 5 is that they're never satisfied. They're never satisfied.
Oh, we're gonna come up to that point too. Shoot, I don't think I can go back and screenshot it.
Well, let's not put words in their mouths, though, because we do want to represent people as best as we can, and no better way to represent them than by letting them speak for themselves. So I see that we've got a comment here from Julie Hanks. I see that we've got Boy, you can see this woman's feminism from space. We've got, I don't know, who is this? No nonsense spirituality. Okay. Yeah, there's no questioning who she voted for or what team she's playing for. So, which ones do we want to jump on?
Okay,
here?
well, do we want to continue with the story, like the progression of what has happened?
Well, we saw the original video, and then now we have
wanna-
to see the comments, right?
Sure. So pull up. So I have Julie Hanks' comment on that video.
Okay, so you put this in here. Oh, you
Yeah.
want to read it out loud?
No, I can't read it.
Okay, here, let me see if I can. I'll pull it up right here and I'll read it. It's right in front of my
You
noggin.
can't have Brittany read it. She's a woman. We don't let.
Yeah.
We don't let her.
My feminine eyes are not working very properly
Your
right
feminine
now.
voice
so-
is offensive.
Yeah.
I would like to invoke 2 Timothy and just say, like, where's your shawl, girlfriend?
I was going to say, is that the women be silent in the chapel one?
I can't remember if it's 1
No.
Timothy or 2 Timothy. I should know better as a patriarch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It is.
You're
it-
slacking.
It is highlighted in my scriptures. But
Now we should take a minute to say that Jared is pointing out a very real problem, which is the rise of the nuns. There's a couple of pictures in the Discord, Cardin.
Okay.
This is a quiet but a creeping threat that everyone needs to be aware of. We're dead serious, okay?
Okay.
Because the nuns are starting to organize. Okay, they're starting to organize, and they've been repressed for years and years.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's starting to manifest in violent ways.
You mean
Yes.
it's starting to woman fest in violent ways?
Yeah, and I see
not manifest.
I see that there's even Japanese anime nuns. Yes.
That was the dumbest pun I've ever heard.
Oh, no. Amen and a
Woman
woman.
I support it. It was great.
Yes. Destined for daddery right there.
That got me. That was
Okay,
good.
so we're going to go and we're going to read Julie Hanks. Okay, please tell. I'm trying to. I don't. Okay.
You don't see the controversy. It's plain as day, Cardin.
No, I'm saying I'm about to read. I'm about to read a Julie Hanks comment here, and I'm trying so hard. I've spoken with this woman personally on the phone, and I'm trying to be as gracious as possible, and like, I don't want her to disappoint me. I want to think that she's looking out for the ladies, because everybody needs an activist. I have zero problem with girl power feminism. I have zero problem with advocacy. I have zero problems with watchdog organizations doing their thing. I feel everybody needs an advocate, including men. Like nowadays, I think that there's a strong argument that just social norms like aren't going to do it anymore. That you need to, there needs to be male advocates just like female advocates, just like they're advocates for sexual minorities, racial minorities, poor people. Like everybody needs an advocate and needs a champion. So I'm really hoping
You're gonna have to read. Do you want me to read it? Do you want one of us to read it, Garden? Is it
Yes,
too
we
painful?
need a
okay,
feminine
fine.
voice.
No, I just don't want to be disappointed because I'm doing my very, very best. I can handle liberal. I just can't handle toxic. Please tell me she doesn't go toxic.
Abandon all hope, Cardin.
Abandon
Consign
all
yourself
hope.
to the shadows.
Okay, Rachel, you do it. Just you do it.
Okay.
You do it.
So I think it's also really helpful to know that she would have posted this as an Instagram live to her followers. Is that correct, Britt?
So I think what we're reading is the comment under Jared Halverson's video.
Okay, here I got it
I'm
pulled
blown
up.
away. What could they possibly be offended with? I'm
It's
so
important though because
curious.
she would have posted this to her followers, which kind of kicked into play this kind of mob mentality, like onslaught.
Can we verify that? I'm really trying. I spoke with her and she said she's not trying to do damage to the church and she's not trying to do.
No. I saw it. Like she posted her response to his video.
Are you sure
on
that
her
this
own
comment is what
Instagram,
set off? Because
so
I
that
mean that's
all
a
of her
bold claim.
Followers would link to his profile and just pile. It caused this kind of pile-on effect.
Now, was that an
Especially
unintended
because-
consequence just because she's a high-profile person?
No, she
or
does
was
that to
this-
people all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her respond to people that she doesn't like and always leave their name, even if they're like a small profile.
So you
And the
think that
intent
she's
is just kind of-
violating? She's violating the do minimal harm part.
I don't know. I mean, I
activism,
think
is
she
what
knows
you're
that
saying.
the thing is though is that when she did it to me, people came to me and I debated them, and then they stop because they only know how to work in like a mob mentality. They're just going to hide behind the group.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I think the way he responded, not bringing, I mean, you can be polite and still bring your points and push back, and they're not used to that because they don't have any counterpoints. They just move as this massive orb, non-critical thinking orb, and they just pile like, yeah, what Julie said, and he didn't push back. He didn't say anything. But like, she posted, when I made a video, kind of a critical thinking video about her months ago, she posted it on Instagram. A bunch of her followers made these comments in the description. I just used basic logic to be like, well, what do you think about this? Well, what do you think about this? And they all had to back off because when they find that you're actually going to confront them with facts, they are not interested in that. So him, you know, you'll get to the point where how he responds. So like, oh yeah, whatever you want. Like, that's what the mob wants. That's what bullies want. They want to know that they can intimidate you into capitulating to their ideas, even if their ideas are wrong.
Okay.
Like, that's why the situation is so like
So
disappointing.
let's read the comment before we assume motivation. Let's read the comment, all right? And you read it really fast for our audience right here.
Oh, sorry.
Dr. Julie Hanks.
I'm pulling it up.
Oh, I got
Brett,
it.
do you
here.
have it?
I got it. Maybe churches
go for
need to reflect on what they are doing or not doing to push women out of. Oh my gosh, I can't.
Hey, you didn't you didn't emphasize her capitalized word, Cardin. You are
got through
silencing
first
Julie
sentence.
Hanks.
No, who's pushing women out of the church? I see nothing but elderly men begging them to stay. I see nothing but Russell M. Nelson pleading with women, holding special firesides. They have made entire committees to try and figure out what aspects of the culture of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints don't actually need the priesthood and have eliminated them. I just went to a baptism where it was two ladies that were both the witnesses. Not even one man and one woman. It was both women. And they've gone with a fine-tooth comb through everything that's not scriptural to make sure there's not a single cultural, social norm that's being enforced based on gender. Our last conference talk, the most based one, was by Emily Bell Freeman. We're a religion run by women. Yes, there's an official priesthood, but we're a beta cuck religion run by women, full of niceness culture, folks. Like,
Because
what?
I can't be primary president because primary presidents are all women, and it's oppressive. It's a matriarchy.
I've
You gotta
never
fight the
seen.
matriarchy.
Show me the
Hashtag
talk.
matriarchy.
Show me
Okay,
the
so-
talk where Russell M. Nelson said we really need less women in the church. There's 25% too much women. They just outweigh the men. They're diluting our social power. Get thee hence to a nunnery. Like, this isn't William Shakespeare from the 15th century.
Okay, can we just read the comment?
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, maybe churches need to reflect on what they are doing or not doing to push women out of the church. Women aren't the problem. Women are tired of associating with organizations that don't listen to their voices, that don't give them authority, and don't offer privileges that they offer men. Oh my gosh. Church is the only place in my life where I am told this is so toxic. Where I'm told I can't do certain things because I am a woman. I am prevented from holding certain leadership positions. There it is. Because I'm a woman, I am prevented from blessing others' lives. No, you're not.
Wait.
Through performing ordinances because I am a woman.
Okay, we need to stop
you're
right
not.
there. We need to stop right there. Julie, you can go to the temple whenever you want, okay? Performing
She probably
ordinances for
won't.
others. You can
We don't
sign
know
up to
if
be
she
a
can,
temple worker whenever you want. You can post how great patriarchal blessings are on your Instagram whenever you want to encourage the daughters of the people that follow you to get them, thereby extending the blessings of priesthood ordinances to them. And guess what? I bet they'll give you credit for doing it. So you'll still get the fame.
Okay, but isn't the argument that, but I'm not allowed to have the priesthood, so I can't. I'm trying to steel man this argument. Now, it forces
I
me to
know.
overlook everything that women are allowed to do that men can't.
But it comes across as if she is playing a character, as if she is putting out a PR statement, a statement
She is.
designed to
She
gin
is.
stuff up. If she cared that much about performing priesthood ordinances for other people, she would be posting about how awesome it was. Look, I went to the temple. It was such a beautiful experience. I'm so glad that I could have given the blessings of the endowment to yet another one of my ancestors. Oh, you guys, you should get baptized. I should do missionary work with my channel to extend those blessings. She doesn't do that. She only complains about the certain things that she can't do as a woman that would bless her life so much if she could do them, yet she's not doing the things that
they
she can do as a woman.
never march to go to prison. They never say equal rights. There's too many men in prison. 95% of that prison population over there is men. You need to put more women in there, and it's not fair that we get lesser sentences on average for the exact same crimes, 7-1. That is so unfair. You need to shove more women in prison. What? That's
Jonah, what were you gonna say?
crazy. Okay, you were saying, should we finish reading the comment here? Because it's not over.
Oh my gosh.
It's not over.
Long.
I am prevented from blessing others' lives through performing ordinances because I am a woman. I don't see my gender reflected in leadership of the church or in general conference talks. Women are leaving religion because it's so steeped in patriarchy. Women aren't leaving churches for worldly things. Women are leaving because we are no longer tolerating sexism and systems that limit opportunities to serve. Churches are the only place left in my world where women are denied opportunities of gender. That's why women are leaving. It's not a mysterious phenomenon.
But
So
wait, she claims to be non-biased though, right? Like she says she doesn't have like
Right.
one way or the other about the church, but reading that, if I didn't know who she was, I'd be like, oh, she's clearly against it. Like, why would you stay if you believe all of that?
Well, but you don't know that she has a massive monetary incentive to say horrible things about the church, because that's her entire business.
Yeah.
Is breaking people's faith, and then they come to her for consolation. I mean, that's
Saying her
Now-
non-biased
That's her
approach
shtick,
looks
right?
pretty biased.
Now, Julie Hanks has given us a testable hypothesis, and is that the limited opportunities for women are what is causing them to leave the church, right? And the reel that she is responding to, Jared Halverson, he invoked the Church of England. Okay? The Church of England in Britain. So let's see what has been happening with the Church of England. 1994, they began ordaining women as priests. 2005, allowed clergy in same-sex civil partnerships. 2014, approved the consecration of women as bishops. 2015, consecrated the first female bishop. 2010s to present, increased environmental advocacy and divestment from fossil fuels. 2020, launched anti-racism task force and racial justice initiatives. 2020s, strengthened support for refugees and asylum seekers. 2023, approved blessings for same-sex couples. Okay, so it sounds like the Church of England is doing everything right, correct? If Julie's hypothesis is true, the numbers in the Church of England should be stabilizing,
Good.
right? Okay, Cardin, what's that article that I just sent you that just came out 5 months ago from The Guardian? That I saw you putting up.
I just put it up on the screen. Let me put it back up again. I didn't know I was looking for a specific detail, but
Scroll up
just
to
scroll
the
up to the title.
it says too many beautiful church
It's
buildings.
not
are
on
going
the
to
screen.
ruin. Here we are.
There we
There you
are.
go.
The Church of England is panicking about declining congregations. Here's what it should do instead.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh my goodness gracious. When about 854,000 people turned out to church in 2023, that figure was just 600. That's nearly a 20% loss.
Mm-hmm.
In 1980, the number was 1.3 million. They've already less than halved in like almost my lifetime. That's catastrophic.
Yeah. Okay, so is not giving women leadership positions and other social justice causes really what's making people leave church?
No.
Julie, I don't think so.
Okay, my only beef too though is I can't handle factually incorrect. Like when you start saying I want to make sure I steel man this. Julie, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm gonna calm down. 10 and 2. I'm an adult. I can handle
don't
this.
hurt her business. Cardin, she's got lots of money riding on the
okay.
line here, Cardin.
Okay.
Careful.
Well, yeah, look, people can be passionate about a subject and then also make money at it as well without being disingenuous. There's
Lots
many
of
that
money.
are. There's many that are. Okay.
Good money.
Okay. Yes, I'm not as cynical as you
Just
are,
saying.
but
Lots of
saying
money.
I'm prevented from blessing others just because you don't see how you want to bless others.
Yeah, she's limiting herself.
Does not mean there's Jesus Christ there begging. How many of his apostles? The zealot, Andrew the zealot, was literally a guy that was like a sicario with a long knife. He was a dude that thought he was going to serve the kingdom and serve the king to overthrow the Romans by assassinating them better underneath a political savior, Jesus Christ. And then Jesus sits him down and is like, oh, this knife is cute, throws it in the river.
That is from The Chosen, not from the Bible.
I know
just
it's not,
to, yeah.
Still, to illustrate the picture. Dallas Jenkins can do no wrong, okay? And I accept the Apocrypha in all of its forms, including scripts written by Dallas Jenkins.
The general principle is correct, though,
I mean,
even
one
if
of
that's
the ironic
specific.
Things, one of the frustrating things here that is like so like it's sad. It's heavy and it's sad because, you know, Russell M. Nelson really did change. Like it was like a paradigm shattering bomb that he dropped in 2019 when he gave his talk Spiritual Treasures. And he's like, so you know that priesthood power comes through covenants. So when you make and keep a covenant, you have priesthood power in your life, you know? Like, and so when I hear these women say, we don't have priesthood, I'm like, you obviously have, like, you don't understand. We need to do a better job of helping people understand the covenant keeping path is one that inherently puts men and women in a codependent dynamic with priesthood power, right? Ultimately, getting married, having kids. And in church, in many ways, you can argue. See, that's where I think we would fall into the same trap as the Church of England if we start pandering to this and saying, we're a woman-powered, empowering church. No, don't do it. We empower men and women together. That's the point. We don't empower men or women more than the other. Like, you fall into a trap when you start trying to play their game by saying, oh, well, we empower women more than anybody, because that is disingenuous to our doctrine. Our doctrine is Heavenly Father, right? My favorite quote by Oakes, our doctrine begins with heavenly parents. Our highest aspiration is to become like them. We believe in men and women united together, and the priesthood, the way it's distributed in power and authority, requires men and women to be codependent on each other in the church and in their home. So, I mean, that's kind of, when I hear women say, we don't have the priesthood, I'm like, you do if you're making and keeping covenants, and they've been teaching that in General Conference since 2019.
And just a couple of things. Rachel, I think you're spot on. Somebody's asking, you can purchase a Warren Heaven hat on the website, but it's the Sabbath. Please don't do that. Wait till tomorrow. And we need more likes, people. We need more likes. We're working hard here for the memes. We need more likes here. We need thumbs up, okay? Just click over it. Give us a little like.
Here's my...
What I want to say is that you say that the church empowers both men and women. Great point. I think also the church disempowers men and women deliberately. Jesus Christ, in the sense of the word power, the way that Julie Hanks uses the word power, she's talking about coercive power over other people.
Status.
She wants to be able to force other people to do things. That's when she hears leadership, she imagines in her head coercion. That's what she thinks leadership is. Jesus Christ was the rejection of that entire paradigm.
Well, maybe she doesn't envision coercion. That's a negative emotion, but she definitely envisions power to manipulate directly.
Yes, power to manipulate, to force people to do things. Yeah. Real power in the gospel of Jesus Christ, properly defined, is servitude.
Is service.
It's submission.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what it actually means. And so the church empowers men and women in the right way. It doesn't empower them in the way that Julie Hanks is thinking. She's thinking power is, I got to force people to do what I want. I got to tell people to do what I want. I'm not responsible for what I do. And I got to, pontificate. I got to boss people around. That's the opposite of what the gospel does. So before we get into the whole sex argument, is it women versus men? Before we even get there, this entire thing is based off a false premise. The gospel of Jesus Christ is anti-power. It is anti, coercing other people or bossing around other people. The Lord of Lords and King of Kings was a servant, a peasant, a dirty peasant born in a stable. We're the photo negative of Julie Hanks's gospel. And Jesus Christ is the photo negative.
Well, I just don't get, I get so frustrated when I also see her say, I don't see my gender reflected. I'm looking at this comment. I don't see my gender reflected in the leadership of the church or in general conference talks. We just did an entire YouTube short series, and I'm just going to look at this one right here. I jokingly said Emily Bell Friedman's based conference talk. Here's the short. Like, it's right here. Went up and said, like,
remember.
wait, here we go.
It's
Emily Bell Freeman, like, straight up went up and said, like,
Remember, it's not only who officiates in the ordinance that matters. What the ordinance and your covenant promise unlocks also deserves the focus of your attention. Wearing the garment of the holy priesthood is a daily reminder of the gift of his power working in you to help you become.
I was like, holy smoke, if there's any truth, we are a faith run by women, for better or for worse right now.
I think
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, the title of this video was "The Most Based Conference Talk was done by Emily Bell Friedman." Like, if we were a faith trying to push women out of the church, trying to negate blessings for women, women wouldn't be allowed. We would be the He-Man woman haters. This would be the Little Rascals, guys. You know what I'm saying? But we're not. And I mean, you might want to start making arguments about, well, I won't feel comfortable until it's 50-50. Well, okay. Are you also going to say, well, I won't feel comfortable until 50% of the primary presidents are men? Like, I mean, chasing these quotas, we've already been down that rabbit hole. It doesn't work. It's not good. And it just leads to toxicity. All right. Now,
You know what's funny? Can I just sorry, interject? One of my favorite questions to ask women, especially because I live in the East Coast, I've lived in the East Coast my whole life. My favorite questions to ask women when they're all on this, this shtick is to be like, what kind of callings have you held? And it's so interesting because it's like assistant ward librarian. Like, if you're a woman in a ward, a local ward or a branch, and you have what's basically happening everywhere except Utah is that women have two callings and they're raising kids. And just like in a family, you have to divide and conquer. And in many ways, how can you ask women to have all these kids and also run a church? Like, it's not gonna work. They're gonna have it's just not gonna work. And that's my favorite thing. So Julie Hanks in an interview with Papa Osler said that she unfortunately hasn't had the opportunity to serve she's like only been a counselor in one presidency ever. So that tells me that people don't trust her with leadership and power and authority in the church because they see an unrighteous dominion in her. But women who are serving a lot don't complain about this stuff because they understand how much women lead and serve and sacrifice. And the women who aren't doing much, who are kind of almost inactive or never really, they're the ones complaining. They're not the heavy lifters that are.
No. That's what I was going to say. Stop giving me more chores. Like, stop it.
Now, in all
And there's
fairness,
plenty of-
I don't get asked to give a lot of sacrament talks and be in a lot of presidencies either. Teaching positions because I'm a fun and engaging teacher, yes. But
Whatever,
I've
you're
been to like
bishop
one
here.
ward council in my life. Okay.
Can we
so-
all have some W's in the chat for Bishop Ellis right here? Bishop Ellis, everybody, put a W in the chat. Go ahead. We'll manifest by the uplifted W.
W
You
for
support-
women. Like it.
W for women.
By the way, Rachel, just so you know, I might as well tell you right now. I'm trying to interrupt in like the last 1% of everything you say, just to make sure that the patriarchy
To establish
is enforced.
dominance.
Establish dominance. Yes.
I had a guy at the Book of Mormon Foundation conference say, "I love you because you always interrupt Cardin." I was like, that is not something I'm proud of. My husband gets so frustrated with it. Let me finish.
No,
Okay, can
it's
we-
good.
So did she? Okay, so he said literally zero, like nothing offensive. She says, "How dare you?"
And a lot of other people pile on. And then unfortunately, this morning, I believe it was, very early in the morning, this next thing happened. He responds. Now,
He responds. What did he say?
what's in the Discord?
Well, this is after like Julie Hanks, No Nonsense Spirituality, went on Mormonism After Dark and did like a 2-hour video basically lambasting the guy.
Is
So then
this
this
These
happened.
people
is
just
this
bored?
gonna is this gonna be
Probably.
Is this gonna be like an awesome? I'm a true blue Mormon.
Well,
I
if we
take
look
no, or is this gonna be like Peter denying the Christ when people heard his accent and knew that he was with the Nazarene?
If we look at the words that are over his
Like,
head,
it's-
in the
Brutal,
screenshot, if we look at the words over his head, it says, "Apology for causing pain."
Okay. Oh wait, no. I know. So this was okay. Now I know what this is in the Discord.
Now
Okay. I made it as part of the thumbnail.
We
Duh,
know,
yeah.
we know from experience that when you go viral, it's a very interesting experience, and social media plays with our social cues and way we've been socially programmed in interesting ways that we are not really designed to be played with. So I understand having sometimes irrational responses to things that happen on social media when it goes viral and so many people are piling onto you. However, I'm still a little disappointed in this. Looks like you have a different video up.
Well, this is no nonsense spirituality.
Oh, we're continuing with the pile on, and then
let's just
okay.
No, because this is after. We need to watch the.
Watch the apology.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll watch the apology first. So here we go. Homeboy apologizes for causing pain. Okay.
For that video that we all just watched, and we all thought, what? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here we go.
I am Jared Halverson. Some of you may have gotten to know me for the first time recently, and I just wanted to let you all know that I am losing sleep over pain that I'm causing, and I just want to apologize for
don't
hitting
let
a
him
nerve
know.
that I had actually hoped to calm. When I say I'm losing sleep, that's literal. There's my clock. It's a little after 2 a.m, and the last 4 hours or so,
Here,
I've been
pause.
reading your comments.
No.
Okay.
This is so sad to me. Like, he is obviously such a teddy bear. Like, losing sleep over this benign video that the feminist bullies attacked him over because they wanted confirmation bias, because they already know what they think in their, and they're just trying to mob mentality on this guy. Like, I hope you're happy, feminists. Like, you attacked a nice guy. Wow, you are real. Like,
These are
that
like
was awesome.
These are the thugs. I was very proud to interrupt you.
Thank you.
Can I have that sandwich we were talking about
Sure.
earlier?
Peanut butter and jelly?
That's funny.
I was promised a pizza.
You were promised a pizza.
I'll ship it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the thugs in Gran Torino that beat up on the old people in the community. They're not tough guys.
Yeah. Right.
You're beating up on a gray-haired seminary teacher who bemoaned the rise of the non-religiously affiliated and recognized historically women have been the backbone of the church. And just as Russell M. Nelson says, we cannot lose the moral rectitude of women, he pleads with his, what did he call them? Servant sisters in Zion, unshaken servant saint sisters, whatever. You know, he pleads with these women to not go inactive, to not go toxic. And you're beating up on this guy so badly that he's losing sleep over this? That's not coolness. That's cruelty. You're not cool.
That's what feminists
So,
are. They're cruel. They're cruel women.
I'm going through the comments, and at least the first 3 that I found are ex-Mormons, not his audience. One of them's my aunt. The algorithm just put it up there because I'm friends with her still.
She's delightful. She's delightful.
Here we have, listen to this one. You're really kind. I loved having your mom as a seminary teacher, but with all due respect, this ain't it. First of all, you can't even resuscitate the faith of some of your own kids. What makes you think you can do it for strangers?
Oh my god.
Like going after his family.
That's what they do.
593 likes
That's what antis do. They
on
go
this
low.
comment.
Jeez.
Okay, let's let him finish. This
So-
is pathetic to watch. It's watching a man beg for his life in front of bullies.
It really is sad.
This is sad. Okay, here we go.
Watching a longer video
And that one's Julie Hanks.
from some people that are just hoping I can learn some things, and I am eager to learn as much as I can. That's always been the case. I just want to help, and I had hoped to help, to support my sister saints, to build you up, and that did not come across. I so wish that there weren't a connection between.
He doesn't even have words for this.
I don't even know how to say it. I'll keep thinking. I'll keep wrestling. I'm just grateful for. I'm grateful for the love of God for all of His children, and it's something I feel keenly. I want everyone to be able to feel that wherever their pain might be. I do try to meet with people one-on-one as often as I can. I've tried to respond to many of you in the comments on Instagram, and the sisters who were on the video recently, I reached out to both of them tonight as well, just seeing if there's a way we could meet, and so I can learn more from their experience in the church and leaving the church and out of the church.
Okay.
You can't. This
Okay.
is straight out of Gary Oldman. When Neville Chamberlain wanted to negotiate with Hitler, and he said, you can't negotiate with a lion when your head is in its mouth.
Does this seem like a
Oh,
patriarchal
that's a
church?
good movie.
Jared, you don't negotiate with spiritual terrorists.
Oh my gosh. You know what my response was to Brittany when she told me what was going on? I was just like, I'm not going to say what I actually said, but I was basically like, why are we run by such like a bunch of betas? Like, fight for us. Like, come on. Like, stand up for the gospel. Like,
Okay.
come on. You have an audience. Like, we have data. We have polls. Like, religious women are happier. Like, the church invests more money in women's education than they do in men. Like, it's just frustrating to think, you know what? This is a page out of the Papa Osler book, the Faith Matters book, which is like, we're going to listen to you so compassionately that we just capitulate to everything that you want.
I'm really
Never
troubled by
mind.
how many books Rachel is reading. that a woman is allowed to read all this stuff. Is anyone troubled by this? A
No,
little too
however,
well-read for a woman. Is Mark listening to this? Is your husband listening to this?
Let me
okay?
see.
Something's going on here. Okay, we need to nip that in the bud. Okay, she's getting too educated.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the list, it's like this tricky hook that like Papa Osler is like, listen, learn, love. And right. So he's like, we just want to listen to people who have questions. But before you know it, what they're doing is actually making an argument for collapsing the doctrine in on itself, to give them what they want, when, as you pointed out, like a lot of them don't actually want the covenant path. And what is sad about all of this, more importantly, is that there are women who might have like questions about women's status and women's role in the gospel in the church setting, but they're hearing these arguments and they're not hearing the response. And that is why Halverson and women and any, me and Brittany and the Women in Word Radio trying to do that, have to articulate those responses, like, so that those other people who are watching this can learn, oh, the church really does invest more money in education than it does men. And also, side note, asterisk, we are the only religion on the face of the earth who actually believes in a divine, physical, supernatural, like natural female God. Nobody else has a heavenly mother. And I think it's critical to understand that Heavenly Mother doesn't act alone. She's married to Heavenly Father. That's why I think we don't buy into this whole, like, we're a woman church. No, we're a woman and men working together church. Like,
And yes, and also, we're the only religion that believes that you have to have, for men, you have to be married to a woman to be saved, to be exalted.
the complete opposite of Catholics.
Complete-
Like, you
of
have to
everybody.
not be married to be in charge.
Well, and
No,
also
evangelicals, their
when
pastors
when
usually are
unity
married.
is a requirement
Totally.
for exaltation, which gender has the power?
Neither.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Neither.
When unity is a requirement, neither gender has power. Yeah, like great family
so
shirt.
Jared was saying,
we're
like,
codependent for a reason.
Jared was
That's
saying,
why I think it's funny, like the Kate Kellys of the world. Like, I'm so sorry, Luke.
no, you're good.
It's okay,
There's
we're
this
women. We
Slight
can do
lag.
it.
conclusion to like hating all male institutions and wanting women only institutions. It's like, okay, so you walk away from male institutions, so you leave the church. Cool. Well, then that means that the institution of marriage with a man would also be oppressive. So then you get divorced. And women, having children holds you back, so you live a child-free life. The only logical end to a true feminist is to end up in a lesbian relationship.
And a
Like,
CEO.
truly, like Alyssa Grenfell, that is my long-term prediction for Alyssa Grenfell. Like, there's
Ooh.
no other logical conclusion. Kate Kelly is married to a lesbian because there are no other options.
Which
on the table.
makes her like, that's why I love her. She sticks her money where her mouth is. Like, it's like, I respect the atheist that descend into nihilism and say there is nothing. Because I'm like, at least you've gone to the logical conclusion. Kate Kelly, she burns her bra, marries up that other lawyer babe friend of hers, and goes just man-hating 101, trying to resurrect the ERA state by state with her Juris Doctorate. Like, I got respect for that because there's no hypocrisy there. Like, you're going to the logical conclusion. That's punk rock. I respect that, right?
The only problem, though, is that the people who maybe bought into some of her really fun rhetoric in the 90s didn't know that that's where the story was going to go and end. And they probably wouldn't have gotten on board with it had they know that this is where the story goes.
Oh, dare I say that you're trying to create informed consent for those that may be going down a religious pathway or an anti-religious pathway that what's it called, behaves even more dogmatically than the religious pathway? Good.
I don't
like
think you
that.
can be. I think it's a struggle to say that you're gonna keep your faith if you're gonna, and that's the other thing I think is interesting and why we really need to celebrate the Heavenly Mother doctrine and Heavenly Father doctrine is because they want to portray, feminists have to portray the church as a male patriarchal institution in order to get other feminists to lose their faith.
And I agree with that, but even before that, they want to say it's either us or them. They want to say it's a Malthusian theology. Okay? It's a Malthusian struggle.
Can you explain that a little more? Like, who's the us and who's the them?
So Malthus was the economist philosopher guy who said nobody can gain without someone else losing. It's a zero-sum game, right? They first their underlying presupposition. I know I sound like Jacob Hansen. Their presupposition is that it's either us or them. That if men are in charge, then it must be that they're hurting women. If that guy's a bishop, then these people are losing, or something like that. They start with that paradigm, and then they say, and guess who the bishops are? Men. That means women are losing. Like they start with this when Jesus Christ turns that on its head. He says, no, actually, you're all damned. Sorry, you're all going to hell unless you get your act together and start acting like Zion.
Or
Sorry,
maybe
you're all screwed unless you're unified, right?
Maybe we should just start behaving like they do, though. And whenever there is something that happens, some horrible abuse case where some person who is obviously, detected as predacious, excommunicated, barred from the chapel or whatever, ends up in prison. There's a muck shop, and then all of the cry bullies and the anti-Mormons try and post his mugshot, say, look, see, the patriarchy enables predacious behavior. Well, we should start doing is just saying we, the patriarchy, and actually should be writing this on parchment. You know what I'm saying? We would just we should write this on parchment, okay?
While riding horses.
Yes, while riding horses. So the horse riding patriarchs, what we should really do is just say, you know what? What's wrong? What's wrong with women nowadays? What do you notice about all these predatory men? They've gotten away under the diligence of female primary presidents. Like literally, that's all they do. All they do is, in fact, I would argue that the average female primary president is one step closer to the child than the bishop is. The bishop has far more responsibility over 17 different organizations. So if we want to do this disingenuous, evil happened somewhere, and the institution is in charge, okay, fine. What person in the institution? Oh, the female, always female, never can be male primary president? That's how toxic. That's how toxic their thought process is.
This is a losing game. Everybody loses when you play this game, especially the gospel of Jesus Christ. There is none of this in the gospel of Jesus Christ. Who's better and who's in charge and who's losing, who's winning. That has no place here. That has no place.
Okay, we're already into overtime. Apparently, a buttload of people have super chatted us. We didn't ask for super chats because this is indeed a Sunday. But, you know, I guess now that people have super chatted, we're going to have to read them because I don't want to leave them hanging. We take very seriously the commandment that thou shalt not work on the Sabbath, nor thy maidservant, nor thy manservant. I don't know where super chats fit into this. I guess it kind of is a gift, but we don't ask for them. We don't ask for them. We usually prioritize on the few Sunday live streams that we do. This was kind of an emergent situation that was happening right now. So with a rapid response, we thought was a call to order. So
Sorry, this girl.
What?
Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. This girl's like, will the women get to speak in this discussion about women?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Are you
on
just tuning in?
I'll talk more.
You're like a cartoon. Like, are you real? Are you real?
I think they just have things that they just like have memorized, and then just like robots, they just like type without
does seem
ever
like
like
that sometimes.
listening.
10
That's why
seconds
you
into a
have to
discussion.
debunk. That's why you have to bring the data. Like, did you know in surveys, like this in this survey, like religious women, married women are much happier. They have much higher. Did you know that like liberal women during COVID were tested and they have a 30% more likelihood of serious mental health disorders than traditional women? Like, you know,
Who what's the who what you know what? I'm not going to say the name of the
You just have to
username that posted
meet
this.
them with data.
Okay, I'm not going to
Go ahead.
post the username of with your permission, of course. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to post the username of the person that posted this comment because I believe in the do minimal harm part of whatever this version of citizen
YouTube Hippocratic
the
Oath.
YouTube Hippocratic Oath, right? But I will say, please just post a picture of your cats. Like if you're going to be posting,
Okay,
you know,
now
just
whoa,
how
I love cats.
I know, but you don't love cats as much as she does, guaranteed.
Probably not.
Guaranteed.
No, it's just like, look,
That
I'm
user
sorry,
has
I'm
a
sorry.
ton of cats.
I'm sorry, but sister, you just walked in and listened to 10 seconds of a hour-long conversation. And you're like, how come the women aren't talking?
I have been talking
Okay,
a
all
ton.
right.
Well, speaking of talking a ton, keepers of the chats, can you catch us up on the chats? Brittany the Shadow, by the way, has she been keepers of the chats for today only? Or is she always keepers of the chats?
She
Dare
is
we-
the perpetual lady of perpetual super chats.
Yeah.
Yes, keep
Yeah.
going.
Okay, well, I can't scroll back as far as probably you can to the. I don't know where they started.
First one's Diamond Dave.
Yeah, I
Ours
don't
doesn't
have
go
that.
back that far.
Okay, I'll catch us up. Tell me when you're there. Okay, Diamond Dave says, been a hot minute. Hope you guys are well. Thank you for the super chat, Diamond Dave. Pauline Nike said, men and women are 100% equal only as children of loving heavenly parents. However, that is where the equality ends. Biological/physical laws bind God. I think what he's talking about is we are one of the few religions that have an anthropomorphic God. There we are. Jeez, that was a tongue
It's a
tire.
womanthropomorphic, actually. Get it right.
You bring up good points. Thank you very much, Pauline Nikes, for the super chat. Fog Defense says, hello and welcome to all the religious bigots, woke scolds, and antis who are hate watching. Yes. Welcome, guys. Rosa Brand, are you caught up, babe?
Yes. Okay, Rosa Brand. Well, before that, did you see Andrew Lee, I think, gifted some memberships?
Oh, would we're going to shift to the real priesthood now
Okay.
of the Ward Radio Wigwam.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to nip that in the bud. All right. There's been way too much ecumenism, feminism for this side of the aisle. So,
Andrew Lee, Ward missionary Andrew Lee has welcomed 10 new members into the Ward Radio Warship. All those who would like to welcome these 10 new members because it's too far up, I can't read their names. Do you have their names, Brittany?
I have some. John Davis, Sam Sampson, Matt Rasmussen, and Manny Jeff.
We
But-
are thrilled to have these brothers and sisters. Well, we're thrilled about the brothers, but you know, it's,
Obviously.
so please put some 10 W's in the chat for Brother Lee's excellent work as a Ward Radio Ward missionary.
Thank you
Okay.
for your priesthood abilities there, Jonah. That was stunning.
Right. Hey,
Yeah.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, Rosa Brand says, let's get real. Feminists today are leaving the church because they are so full of themselves they can't deal with the idea of being humble.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say they're putting themselves above Jesus Christ.
Also, think about like what it's like to work with someone who's bean counting and is like really sensitive and always takes offense to things. It's like, how are you supposed to have a team dynamic in any environment when you work with someone that's always looking for offense or who's like counting? Well, I want to be in charge of the team. And you're just like, can we just be mission focused? Can we just get the job done?
Well, speaking of bean counting, like food is getting expensive, houses getting expensive. Think how much cat food. You can't pay tithing if you got 4 cats. Like there is so much whiskas
Good point.
that you got. You know what I'm saying?
It's getting hard. It's getting hard for cat ladies
It's
out
getting
there.
hard for cat ladies everywhere. Okay, keep going.
So the chat is flying. I think there's a lot of antis. Hello and welcome.
The chat-
Are you
sorry,
loving
the
the
chat-
show?
Now, the
The
irony
chat is
is
a dumpster fire right now.
the irony is that Jared Halverson's video blew up because of all the antis that came around and gave him the stuff. And unlike Jared Halverson, we're fine with it, and we will take all the extra views and
So
clicks
the
that gives
antis
us.
are still doing the Lord's work
Yep,
by
on
promoting
Sunday.
his
Thank you.
channels.
On Sunday.
Oh my gosh, you guys
What
are
did Cardin?
so good.
Cardin, what's the rule? What's the rule? The antis never.
They
refute
never
prophecy.
refute scripture. They
Scripture.
only fulfill it. They always accuse you of that which they are woefully guilty of themselves. Number 3 is they can leave the church, can't leave the church alone. I can't remember the order of all of it, but yeah.
For every comment an anti brings, a notification bell and a faithful subscriber rings.
Did you just make that up?
Yes, I did.
That was quite impressive.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was good.
That
bro.
is why, can I add something? One of the things that I've observed is like that collaborative piece, even though I took it like from a professional environment, like when I've looked at some of these women, I'm like, geez, like I would hate to work in a team environment professionally with this person if they just had this energy. And you think about how difficult that would be to be married to this person, to serve in a calling with this person. And you bring up this point that in the spirit, in the name of feminism, they stop being collaborative people. And it has the same effect of just like really driving a wedge. And that's where this LDS brand of feminism is particularly toxic because it's going right after families. It's going right after family structures. It's going right after marriage. It's going right after like, oh, you know, the church encouraging women to be mothers is diminishing. Like it's going right after family. So we really do need to push back on this. And, you know, I thought about his response and I was like, you know, he honestly, in some ways, doesn't actually have a move because if he tries to push back as a man, they'll just say, oh, well, there you go. You're just a patriarchal sexist. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Strategically, like, could he have pushed back? Like, that's where me and Brittany and the other ladies of Word Radio and the beautiful Charlotte, Jonah Barnes' wife, like, come into play where we're the ones have to articulate this argument because they can't call us sexist.
But like,
I mean,
who?
I'm fine with being called a sexist. Speaking of which, there's some really sexist memes in the Discord that we need to bring up right now.
Well,
Carter.
I will pull them up, but I love what you said, Rachel. And actually, I just texted Jared. Maybe I'll give you a preview of what I just texted him, but it was almost exactly what you just said. So your intuition and your reading of the situation, I think, is actually really good. And if you want, if the chat is interested.
Yeah.
Look at this, women and men working together.
Oh
my
yeah,
gosh.
it's a
It's
beautiful
warm,
thing.
It
fuzzy.
never happens anywhere else in the church
Yeah.
except for right here.
Nowhere
Yeah.
So
else.
we got to
No
treasure
time
this
has
moment.
ever happened.
It's almost like we don't hate each other or something like that.
Or at least you can put it under wraps for one episode. You know.
Yeah. Okay, catch us up on Super Chats, Brittany.
Dude, I don't even know if I can. The chat is flying. There's some
well, the Super Chats.
anti-demons in here.
The antis are all.
Oh
over
wait.
tonight.
Rachel loves measurable quantifiers. Let's do this really fast. Who do you think's going to get clipped most out of this episode? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be Luke? Is it going to be you?
You were pretty animated, Cardin.
Yeah. I was kind of like typical red-faced. I'm socially conservative. I'm actually very fiscally liberal, but I'm a social conservative in many regards, so they might go after me. I have one of those, fiery rants, but I do.
Oh, I can beat that. Once we get to these memes, then I'll take the trophy here for
Rachel. They hate you though because you're the Benedict
baby.
Arnold. You're the Benedict
They do hate
Arnold.
Rachel.
You've switched. You're supposed to be hating on us right now.
This
How
is the
dare
thing that I
you.
have learned. Like, this is one of the fun things that I've learned, especially one-on-one comments, is that you realize how people really get stuck in such an echo chamber. Like, I know there's a lot of you, but I know you only talk to each other, especially the feminists. You only talk to each other. And so you never have to defend yourself because you are never exposing yourself to the opposite arguments. I could argue both sides of this. Like, I could argue both sides of it. But one of the things that you're ignoring is the fact that LDS women are insanely educated. We have the highest concentration of undergraduate degrees of any religion in the United States. We're beat by PhDs by the Jews. So what we have is, and we don't have less children. So all you have is this like fighting force of educated, articulate women. And we're all having kids. And none of you guys are. So
That's true. The birth
I feel
rate.
really good about the future.
Yeah, there's measurable quantifiers there that are brutal. So I'll catch us up on super chats really fast. Heather Hunt was the last one, babe. Oh no, Rosa Brand. Do you have Rosa Brand?
I already read that one.
Oh, you did. Let's Get Real, Feminist Today, or
I
Leading.
already read
Okay,
that.
Heather Hunt. I'm just so tired. That one.
I can't see that anymore.
Okay, Heather Hunt just says, I'm just so tired of the Julie Hankses of the world. I'm tired, boss, in my best John Coffey voice. Well, we would like to think that her activism is motivated by yay girl power, and that hopefully by showing where one might be misled on certain issues, that we might be able to at least reach across the aisle and make some kind of peace. In some regard. So, as always, anybody whose name has been invoked on this show is invited on the show. Myriad times I have invited Julie Hanks to participate on our show, and she has an open invite here as well. Still, Kurlam Theory says, Kwaku imploding on Twitter. Please help Kwaku. Love my boy Kwaku. He's oftentimes a Rorschach test, and I don't control him. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I'll find out.
Yeah, that'd be a little sus if you controlled him.
Well, sometimes people they'll always tag me. They'll be like, "Hey, Outway Radio, what do you think of this?" And it's just like, I don't control Kwaku. I don't know what's going on.
Let me tell you what you don't want to try. For anybody out there, do not try to control Kwaku. He hates that more than anything in the world. Don't ever try to control
Kwaku. Just like whatever. So anyway, Pauline Ikes. Pauline Ikes asks, what's the lesbian divorce rate in the U.S.? You know this stuff, Rachel. What is it?
I don't know. I think they say the average relationship of a lesbian relationship is 2 to 3 years. But what I think is a really interesting fact about lesbian relationships is they have if you look at heterosexual relationships, male gay relationships, and female lesbian relationships have an insanely high rate of domestic abuse, physical domestic abuse. Of all of those categories. Crazy high rates of domestic abuse.
Lesbian marriages?
Relationships and marriages, yep.
Oh, the chicks with the hammers on Modern Family? That's brutal. You know what I'm saying?
I got some stats.
Yeah, weren't they the contractor characters on Modern Family?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, come on. You all saw the sitcom, right?
No.
I watched I don't remember the girls with hammers.
Yeah. Then when they had to go, I didn't watch a ton either, but there was an episode where they had to go to their kids' school, and there was 2 contractor girls that were in the principal's office. And oh my gosh, every time I make a movie reference on this show and every time I make a TV reference, it just falls on deaf ears. And I don't even watch that much movies and that much TV.
Just watch the right ones then.
Just Modern Family.
When you're done, I got a question for the panel.
No,
that's about as mainstream as it gets. Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
I was just going to say, sorry, just a question was asked. The lesbian divorce rate was 78% in 2016, 74% in 2017, 75% in 2018, according to Jana Landry, attorney at Law Statistics, that she pulls from Metro Weekly.
And I'm looking up my Modern Family episode while you look up those stats.
Wait, aren't we doing the next?
No, I'm just kidding.
Chats?
Keep doing the super chats. So next super chat, dear Julie Hanks, Pauline Ikes asked, please do us all a favor, choose the bear and leave men and the patriarchy alone. Isn't that a quote from the original Feminine Mystique? Something about how
it's like
men.
it's
The
this
Bear in the
thing,
Woods.
Yeah, like if a woman is alone in the woods, would you rather encounter a bear or a man? Which one
Cardin,
would you choose?
you cannot get mad at us for not getting your family whatever references
come
and
on,
then
you
not
gotta
get
get
the
that-
bear in the woods alone
No, that was
reference.
the TikTok. You're right. There was a TikTok 6 months ago, a big
Yeah.
TikTok trend.
Yeah.
Yes, that was culturally ignorant of me, and I
Okay, wait.
apologize.
If I could just add really quick.
Actually, I'd like to say, guys, I've lost a lot of sleep over this.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't believe me, it's
Oh my gosh.
8:30 at night, and
Hey,
I'm here to
hey,
learn,
hey.
and I want to know, but I didn't understand that the bear in the woods was a cultural metaphor. Actually, I knew, but I'd forgotten. And if you could just punish me in the comment section, if you could brigade me from ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon subreddits, and so on and so forth, I'd really appreciate
I'd like
that.
to apologize to all the bears.
I'd like to
and
apologize
to all the
to
woods.
bears. Well, and also
Bears
the
may
other
have
thing that
taken
bothers
offense.
me is it's so sexist, all of our haters. Like, all of the anti-Mormon haters, they're almost all dudes. At least if they're coming from the evangelical end. Like, there's no, there's like, you just went to a conference with all of these guys that have done hit pieces on Mormonism, and they're
It
all
was
dudes.
fun.
So much of like anti-Mormonism is like just so wildly gender biased, except for some cultural channels. You know what I'm saying? That engage in some of these more cultural arguments, being staffed heavily by woke crybaby women. Like there is actually a wild gender bias in anti-Mormonism, which I find kind of interesting.
I don't know. Most of the anti-Mormons I know are like white privileged women.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, like
It's like, please, we need to find our victim card when we're wealthy white women. Like, we'll find it. We're actually secretly oppressed, and we'll use the word trauma.
my life
By
has
the
been
way,
so
that's
hard.
That is something that, like, deeply, I will say, deeply offends me as someone like we're a military family. We have friends with legitimate combat trauma in their brains, and so when I hear these women walk around and be like, I have religious trauma, I'm like, you have been wounded. I will give you that. You have been hurt. You are probably experiencing grief. You do not have trauma. It's like
No.
it's incredibly dramatic verbiage. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Okay,
Jeez.
can we get to my meme, please?
Amen, Rachel.
Are we finishing all the serious stuff and then doing the memes?
Yeah, well,
Or-
Let me do the meme.
We'll
We're
go
on
to the memes.
topic
We're
right
Jonah,
now.
memes.
I've been trying to say the meme.
I-
Give me a second.
I have been waiting since Rachel said all the really awesome stuff that she said like 30 minutes ago. to
Okay.
say
This
the
is a
stuff.
sexist panel. Rachel just keeps talking over all the men, you guys.
People don't tune in to hear what we think. They tune in for the memes. Okay. People,
Okay, so here's the memes, and then
so
we'll
this
go
is
over the responses.
This is the first one. Okay, this bear. This is the bear who had to spend a week in the woods with a woman or with women. And this is after choosing that. They were so mean. I know, buddy.
Brittany, you're not allowed to laugh at that one, but that one is funny. The bear. Let's make that one bigger. I'm making that
That's
one
good,
bigger.
Jonah. That was good.
Was that you, Jonah? Was that you?
No, I saw that.
Oh,
one
you
day
just
and I
found
spat
it?
Coffee out my nose. I don't even drink coffee, but I spat coffee out my nose.
I just saw it.
I know, buddy. I know.
Oh, that's
Okay, now there's a meme just above this meme. There's a meme. Okay, get ready, Julie Hanks clip artists. Here it comes.
Oh my
Of
gosh.
a huge naked giant thing.
What?
What is this?
I'm scared.
I don't know what this is. What is this, Jonah?
Okay, so this is a scene I know that our antis won't recognize this because they're not very educated. Not
This
like
is when they
LDS
got the
women that are
Cyclops
educated.
drunk in.
Yes. So remember when
okay.
Odysseus was in the cave trapped by Polyphemus, and he told him his name was Ontin was nobody. Okay, the Cyclops. He gives the Cyclops wine, and he says, "Here's my gift. I give you wine. Give me a gift back," hoping the Cyclops will let him live. And the Cyclops says, "Ontin ego pimato sedomai." He says, "I will eat you last."
Oh
Okay.
yes, I
That's
remember
why
that.
you don't go apologizing to crazy psychotic, zero sum anti-Mormon feminists. Okay, you don't do it
Yeah.
because their gift is going to be just bimato sedomai. They're just going to eat you last, like
So
zip do. Like there's
So good.
there's nothing to gain. Jared, I love Jared. I saw Jared on Stick of Joseph. I thought he was really, really great, and he's such a good guy. They're weaponizing his kindness and his empathy. And you have to be as harmless as a dove but you have to be wise as a serpent. And these women are going to utilize the leverage that you give them to do more damage to the family and to the church. That's all they're going to do. They're never going to say, gosh, you're right, I'll let you leave. They're going to say, ego pimato sedomai. They're going to say, I will eat you last. And that's all you're ever going to get. So,
you know what?
Dude,
Also,
that's
I
brutal.
just remember this in Jared's apology video. I was reading through some of like the comments, and this one lady, I wish I would have screenshotted it. She said, "I didn't hear an apology," and I wanted to be like, "You are the
Never
reason
satisfied.
there's a stereotype where women are nagging," because she was literally like, "You didn't apologize," and literally in the video he says, "I'm sorry." Like, these women are psychotic.
Oh my goodness gracious.
But I still think it's really, really important for everyone to understand that even if the person you're not talking to is going to be convincible, you still need to politely, respectfully push back and make the argument because there's 4 other people watching
Right.
who maybe can't, like, that's one of the things that I've realized is that there's very few original thinkers in this world. Mostly everyone's parroting somebody else. And the reason I know that is because I'll get the same people making the same 4 arguments they've heard from Julie Hanks over and over and over and over again. They're not thinking new things. So we need to role model talking points for other people who are watching, who are convincible, who might otherwise be in, like, so Jared being silent in front of a huge audience is a missed opportunity to influence people who are watching him, who could be influenceable for having faith in the church and seeing that the church is a collaborative institution that invests in women's education at a phenomenal rate, wants to educate mothers, wants to, and believes in the existence of a female super god. Nobody else has that, right? And so we articulate these things. We can convince the onlookers who are watching. So Jared,
Yeah.
Luke was.
Well, and I was gonna say too, like,
Oh.
sorry, man, I'm talking, but I was gonna say, like you said, Rachel, like the women that are just, memorizing and just robotically just writing down like their little things that they've heard from Julie Hanks or no nonsense spirituality or whoever, they either say those things or they go super low and do like family attacks.
They'll
And
go personal.
attacks, yeah. Those
Because they
people
can't
are
make the
so
argument, so they
sick.
pivot away. They're losing the argument, so they pivot away. And if you
Exactly.
stay on topic and you don't engage,
I think those
that
are the
side-
lowest people in our society. They sicken me to my core. Like, I just think there's a special place somewhere for those types of people.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we're talking about Ducks fans? Oregon
Exactly.
fans?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna
I do
keep.
not
And I do have a concern. Like the reason, oh gosh, I wish I would have talked to him before this happened, because this isn't gonna build bridges. They're not gonna say, oh well, now that we've talked it out, oh gosh, I realized that you actually didn't mean to do anybody any harm. No, they took you out of context. They're gonna parade you around as a head on a stick, bro.
Yes,
The
they are.
second-
Well, that's what Julie Hanks did.
The second you say I'm sorry to the guys, unless you actually truly did misspeak and not mean something, and you said, something horrible, or else you meant to hurt somebody's feelings and you said it to hurt them and you knew when you were doing it, and you look back and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Shoot, I was really angry and I shouldn't have done that. I'm appealing to my own better angels now and I'm asking for apology. I am a huge fan of when you apologize, it's because you care more about the relationship than you do about your own pride, right? But at the same token, you can't let others weaponize that empathy. It's why we don't negotiate with terrorists. This is a form of spiritual terrorism. And by his apology, they're going to say, what's their number one thing they're pushing right now? That religion is harmful. And they're all going to say, religion is harmful. See, they'd be a bunch of raging patriarchs if we feminist activists couldn't just step in with all of our cats and our ex-Mormon subreddit minions and our mean, nasty comments online and our bad reviews of their businesses online. If it weren't for us and our benevolence and our righteous modernity, then the church would just be overrun by these blood-sucking, horrible men that do all these bad things. And look, even Jared Halverson agrees with us. Look, he says he's here to learn and that he's so grateful for the opportunity to speak and learn how he could. No, these people hate us. They want the world to think that religion is harmful and destroy faith in other people. They're not They're not woeful doubters, okay? These are people that hate our faith. Many of them just hate faith in general. And when you bend the knee, what happens is you're no longer defending others. Like they always say, oh, I didn't want to cause harm. My question for Jared Halverson is, does that extend to the women that were hoping you would stick up for them and their choice to stay at home with their children? Their choice to serve with dignity in whatever capacity they have, their family, their church, their social groups, those that maybe sacrificed aspects of their career or sacrificed aspects of wealth accrual that they could have had to have a couple more children because they felt that that was their calling. Modern feminism basically makes it sound like until you got your PhD and or you're the CFO of a Fortune 500 company, you better not have a single child or think about it, or else you are a failure as a woman and you have actually betrayed all of womankind and you are part of the problem, and the problem is the patriarchy. There's a lot of women fighting against those headwinds right now that need mini celebrities like you to give them some kind of at least philosophical cover. And when you bend the knee to a mob like that, you have now completely I talked to Julie.
It's just going to make it harder for someone like me who is going to push back and defend my religion, because what you do is you condition the horde to think that they can bully everyone.
Right.
And they think, oh, this is all we have to do is just pile on. And then they'll, and I mean, what I heard in his video is like, man, I mean, Brittany and I just had this experience this last week with like a garment video that kind of got misunderstood with I think people came around eventually, but it was very misunderstood. And so we understand what it's like to feel like the world is against you and just isn't understanding what you meant to say. And you just want it to stop. And that's what I saw in his video. His exhaustion was, can I just find a way to make this onslaught stop? You know, he's like, I'll go on Julie Hanks. I'll prostrate myself on the ground. However, he's kind of a public sacrifice to the mob.
And the feminists love it. They're just gonna pounce right on that because they see weakness, and they're cruel demons.
And they'll tame him. They'll tame him. And they'll say, look, see, and if he apologizes, even better, head on a stick until he says something else they don't like. And the rest of his life, he's going to be thinking in the back of his mind before he presses upload, oh shoot, now I have to have one of them.
Maybe I shouldn't celebrate Mother's Day. I might offend someone.
Yeah, I should have them read it and approve what I say, so that I don't ever have that nasty cancel culture mob come after me again. It is weaponized empathy, and it's cruel. And here's my only question, actually, because I know a lot of people are clipping this, and I like being able to ask direct questions. And this is to Julie Hanks, to No Nonsense Spirituality, to all these woke scolds that are hate watching us right now, dumpster fire in our chat and everything like that. I saw Jared Halverson, and this is a question to Jared Halverson as well. Okay. You talk a lot about harm. Okay. And I believe Julie when we spoke personally, and she said, I went and I spoke at John DeLynne's convention, even though we all know that he's the biggest anti-Mormon out there. Actually, no, technically by click count, it's actually Alyssa Grenfell, but he's probably the most over time well-known, right? And I said, well, why are you speaking at Thrive? I can see why people call into question your loyalty to the church and your desire to, build the kingdom if you're speaking at the #1 anti-Mormon rally. Like, I have Jewish friends. If I were to speak at Richard Spencer's Unite the Right rally and my Jewish friends looked at me and said, are you an ethno-nationalist now? Like, do you hate us now? I wouldn't think they were crazy, right? So anyway, I asked this question. And she said, well, it's because there's people that are suffering over there. I'm a therapist, and I always want to alleviate suffering. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, if you're going to challenge the church and what you perceive as obviously right-wing social bias, do you want to alleviate, and if you're demanding apologies from the church or also from Jared Halverson, can I see an example where you've demanded an apology of socially progressive or left-wing family interruption, of people who have been cruel on the left and interrupted families and done major damage, caused trauma, dare I say harm, because of left-wing ideologies? And you speak about wanting to learn, Jared, and also about wanting to, not intend harm, whatever. You just destroyed cover for a lot of women that were depending upon you to provide rational and articulate defense of them choosing to be mothers and so on and so forth? Would you learn from the Rachel Pattersons of this world, the Britneys of this world?
Would you come on board Radio Women? We would like to extend an invitation for you to visit Ward Radio Women. It's a panel of us. We're all covenant keeping. Some of us are divorced. Some of us are married. Some of us have kids. Some of us don't.
Yeah.
I think that would be a nice.
And all of you hate
balancing.
watchers, before you say that, oh, these are my champions, remember, they've been invited. Julie Hanks has been invited. She can come with whoever she wants. We'll pay for her plane ticket. We'll put her up in a hotel.
Multiple times.
Multiple
she's been
times.
invited.
Okay? And you can sit right where Brittany is. I'll put an extra cushion on the chair. I'll give you a crown and this cool drape thing. You look like a queen. All right? You know what I'm saying? It'll be like...
Isn't it interesting how often they want to stay in their echo chamber?
Yeah, and same with Jared
because
Halverson.
They don't have to actually think critically.
No, it's the
they
robot.
just re-answer the same questions over and over and over again.
And this is my frustration with Jared Halverson. I have spoken with him for years about coming on my show. And I get that he's a busy man, and I don't feel entitled to his time at all. But we've had a lot of missed, shots here. Oh, yeah, let's do it. This, maybe, I got to talk to BYU first, and yeah, this and that. Tons of runs around. Who knows? Maybe he just doesn't want to, because there's a lot of people in the niceness culture establishment that think we're too edgy or whatever, and I'm fine with that. You can have your reasons. I prefer you be honest with me than dishonest with me, but assuming that he's honest, and it's a function of time or whatever, for years, we've been trying to make it work with him. No time, but man, it only takes 24 hours of Julie Hanks activism, only 24 hours of rabid feminist activism. You're going to bend over backwards to go on two of the biggest anti-Mormons podcasts out there. Julie doesn't do her own podcasting. She always does guest podcasting, oftentimes from anti-Mormon platforms. So you're going to be giving the CPM and the cred to who? Bill Reel. She shows up on Bill Reel a lot. She shows up on John DeLynn a lot. She shows up on others that I won't even name because I don't want people go searching for them. She doesn't show up on our show. She doesn't show up on Scripture Central. She didn't show up on More Good Foundation. She'll go to Progmo Faith Matters once 5 years ago. But at the end of the day, it's bro, you in your niceness culture, ignorance, are going to empower and enable the most cynical, cruel, weaponized empathy tactics of spiritual terrorists over what? The Gadianton robbers, they lost blood and treasure fighting the people of God in the Book of Mormon. They went to real war and died to fight the people of God. Had the Book of Mormon been written in 2025, they just would have had to write a strongly worded letter and make a couple of YouTube and Instagram comments. And then you would just go running down to Gadianton's lair and say, "Take me now. I repent." What? No, man. There's no wisdom in that. There's no strength in that. Go, Jonah.
I was just going to say, let's remember, what was was it Lahontai and Amalickiah coming down from the mountain? In the Book of Mormon during the war chapters, there was the episode where they come down from the mountain. You remember this?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where Amalickiah says, just come down and we'll talk. Just come down and we'll talk. We'll just got to talk. Actually, funny, in the Apocrypha, that's how Cain kills Abel. Did you know this?
No.
So when it says in the book of Genesis, there's only a little verse kind of left there. It's all totally destroyed. My second book is reconstructing that Genesis. But Cain and Abel were separated after the sacrifice, the altar bowl, where Abel won the altar bowl. And they said, we got to separate these two. Cain went down to the plain and Abel stayed at the mountain. So Cain couldn't just walk up and kill Abel. He had to convince Abel to come down. And so what he says is, Abel, you're the priest of the family. Come bless my flocks. And Abel says, oh, really? And Cain's like, yeah, I want my flocks to be as good as yours. Come down and bless my flocks.
Sounds like let's talk about reducing harm and build bridges here, baby. Come on,
right.
Come on.
Now, what I hope everybody remembers is
that
what I hope everybody remembers, when the creedists will talk, and there's many of them in the chat right now, who they'll say, did you know that Mormonism teaches that the creeds are an abomination? What we always have to remember is that Mormonism did not say the creeds are an abomination. I didn't say the creeds are an abomination. Jehovah said the creeds are an abomination. Jesus Christ said they were an abomination. And don't you ever apologize for repeating what Jesus Christ said. And Jared Halverson was reading a section from the DNC. He's reading a verse from what, section 25 of the DNC? Bro, when you read scripture and someone's like, I'm offended by that, you say, sorry, your problem, not mine. It's script. Don't ever apologize for
especially if it's not meant to be something offensive. So, like, for example,
right, sure,
you remember the whole stupid Christ is King controversy. And look, if there's some kind of neo-Nazi who's throwing Christ is King into a Jewish subreddit just to piss people off, then of course, you know what I'm saying? But when you have the most milquetoast, like Boy Scout of Boy Scouts, you know how in The Chosen they say teacher of teacher, you know, literally when you have the Boy Scout of Boy Scouts here, okay, just trying to get you enthusiastic about your faith, like, you have to be the most cruel and vicious of activists to twist what this guy says.
Yeah.
Not me, not Jonah, not Rachel, not Luke. But this guy,
maybe Luke,
Jared Halverson, you know what I'm
what
saying?
Did you say?
You're just cruel if you do. Continue.
She could have posted on her channel, hey guys, I know Jared, he's a good person, lay off him. 100%. But like, it is interesting you point out that like bullies do know who to target.
Yeah.
They do. They know that there's people.
Right.
I never get bullied. I never get bullied in real life or online because they just know I'm going to defend myself. But they know the nice people. And I think it is interesting that she didn't tell her people, you know, her followers, hey, he didn't mean it quite, once she saw how overwhelming it was.
Yeah, who will rid me of this
they're
meddlesome
going to parade
priest?
him through the, you know, the streets. Shame, shame,
Yeah,
shame.
and she's stirring up contention on purpose.
Yeah, like here's a title of one of her videos.
Well, just from one
Questions
comment,
nobody
we
asks
can't
my
say
husband
that.
at church.
Sorry, what?
Like, this like you said, she's just stirring up angst. This is the title of one of her like her threads or whatever. She's like, questions nobody asks my husband at church. You know, like it's
everything
just
she
stirring
does,
up. It's pot
yeah.
stirring and.
Okay, well, let's
Now,
go
no,
over.
sorry, I just want to do a little palate cleanser here.
Okay,
a little
okay,
palate
okay.
cleanser because we're a little frustrated. We're all a little
Okay.
frustrated.
It's a
okay?
sad day.
The women are just being real negative. The women are being real cranky. Okay. on this
Sorry,
podcast,
feminists
okay?
do that to me. I think they're just so
Hey,
ugly.
you know, would you
Who's
women
that?
just calm down? Would you just calm down?
I
Okay.
mean,
All right. For just
I haven't sipped this in a hot minute, so here we go.
But we have to say, actually, for all of you antis in the chat, and man, oh man, are there a lot of you right now, we would just like to point out that Zach was ordained an elder today. Congratulations to Zach receiving the Melchizedek priesthood of the Order of the Son of God.
look,
Nice
it's
job,
same
Zach.
thing.
Welcome to the Melchizedek priesthood. We're so glad. It's just like everywhere you look, people are joining the church. We're building stakes and temples the world over. Africa's going crazy. You know, we just want to take a moment to remind all of the anti-Mormons in the chat that someday all your great-grandchildren.
They're not going to have grandchildren.
Good point. Yeah, you're right. I
They're
should've-
not. They don't get
I was
married and they
getting-
don't
I was
have
getting carried
kids.
away.
Yeah.
I was
Me
getting
and
carried away
Brittany's
with
kids
that.
are going to be
Okay,
here.
we're going to react to their reactions really fast. I'm just going to pull up the last of these because we're already into overtime. It looks like here there was, because we got to make good on our claim here. We've buried the lead. No nonsense spirituality. Okay, cool. So I've never seen this one before, but we're going to see what they did and what happens when you apologize to the mob.
This is one of the women that he's going to speak with. He's going to speak with Julie Hanks and this lady. No nonsense spirituality.
And it's the podcast that he watched that prompted
Right.
this video.
Correct.
In part.
Okay, so let's see. All right, let's see. Here it goes. Apology for causing pain, her reaction.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jared Halverson. Some of you may have gotten to know me for the first time recently, and I just wanted to let you all know that I am losing sleep over pain that I'm causing, and I just want to apologize for hitting a nerve that I had actually hoped to calm.
You can go to his channel Unshaken to see his full apology video, but the podcast that he's referring to and the women that he's referring to reaching out to is both me and Julie Hanks when we recently podcasted about some of his remarks about women leaving the church.
Oh, she's so proud of
We
herself
did that
right
with
now.
Bill Reel and RFM just 2 days ago. And I'm going to say something that not all feminists in this space are going to agree with, but that's okay because we all do feminism differently. My opinion on this one, this is the time to show grace. He not only
What? There's what? Oh, there's hope.
What?
There's
Well,
hope.
You can't be totally like against if you want him to come on your show and talk. You have to kind of. What did Lahontai say? Just come down. I want to talk.
Oh, wait. Is this going to be a fake grace where they say, oh, we got to show him grace? He's learning, and it's hard for those bigoted patriarchs to learn because they are big, dumb animals. Oh,
no. Really?
Is that
I
where
think
it's
so.
going?
I mean,
Let's watch
more
it.
to come in her podcast.
We don't want to be cynical. We're going to let it go.
only listened to 2 hours of me talking about it on a podcast, but also read through thousands of comments of women saying why his words were so hurtful to them. And behind his words is a real human who's up till 2 a.m. and can't sleep because he know that he messed up. But he's willing to listen. He's willing to learn.
He said
reached out to me
feminine
and
ears,
Julie on-
people. Feminine ears. He called people with
Okay,
feminine ears.
Hey, but this is an upgrade. This is an upgrade because
No.
this is absurd arrogance, not cruelty.
Not yes.
This is absurd
True.
arrogance,
True.
not cruelty.
I said she's very proud of herself. Look,
Yes,
I got
oh.
him to apologize because he was listening to me. I got him to
No,
apologize.
you can see her smile. Actually, I noticed it too.
Yeah.
If we go back right here.
apology video, but the podcast that he's referring to.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
right
women
there.
that he's
Yeah, she's
referring
like,
to.
the podcast he's referring to, we got his head
I'm
in a
so
stick. We got Barack
influential.
Obama to do an exclusive interview with us. And this is like, yeah, you could totally tell that it's like, yeah, I've seen this with young journalists when I used to do like problem solver politics and everything. It was super fun. But yeah, you can see she's stoked. Now let's let her finish. We've done a lot of lambasting feminists here, and we got to give the devil its due. And by the devil, we mean feminists. No, I'm just kidding. But we got to give we're going to let them speak for themselves.
A real human who's up till 2 a.m. and can't sleep because he know that he messed up. But he's willing to listen. He's willing to learn. He reached out to me and Julie on his own. I didn't reach out to him. We're coming into a conversation together in good faith, and this is the kind of behavior that we want to see. And also, it's not the
kind of behavior we want to see from men.
lost me.
We have
You
you
lost
under
me.
our thumb.
Okay.
This
Lost
is
me there.
gross.
Hey,
Oh
look,
my
but this is
gosh.
an improvement. Now we can work with this. We can work with this.
So we're gonna
Okay.
take him to
I
a
can't work with
re-education
this.
camp where we're gonna make a beta male feminist, right, out of him. I'm not saying that that's what they're going to, but that is the goal, right? Is to just have like a totally neutered man who has no opinion, and women can just run the show.
But
Like,
it's better than just abject cruelty of weaponized empathy. Would you not
That's true.
agree?
yeah, like
I would just
yeah,
prefer they
sure.
stayed militant against him, honestly. Like,
No, we're
This,
trying.
like-
we're trying to
No,
build something here, bro.
no.
We're trying to make things work. I haven't given up on hope. Someday I will have Jim Bennett and Jacob Hansen in the same room, and we're all gonna laugh at some joke together, and it's gonna be a beautiful moment. And I will somehow. It's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen, and I'm still this is the part of my mother that never died in me. This is her 23 chromosome speaking. I'm thinking like maybe someday we can get the most toxic elements of the feminist mystique in our church to like just stop hating men for just one day of peace. To play soccer like in World War I, you know, where the Germans stopped fighting the French and they played soccer for like one day on Christmas Eve or something. We're gonna get that once.
they were
right?
singing Silent Night, I believe.
They were singing
But,
Silent
yeah.
Night. Yes. Okay. So let her finish.
Usually get from church leadership. We don't usually get, public apologies from church leadership.
Yeah, because they're
Thank
smart. But anyway,
Thank
okay.
heaven
He's
above.
also getting thousands of comments on his own platform saying like you have no reason to apologize, like you shouldn't have to apologize for saying the truth. And it's like, no, we need to give him the message that we appreciate that you took the time to listen.
Oh, wait, by the way, good luck. And if you are in charge of a movement that is rapidly making thousands of cruel comments, so much that you need to rein in your minions, you might want to reconsider your leadership, the branding, the modus operandi. And she finishes.
and you're feeling the effects of what you said and the harm that you caused here, and that you're willing to engage in conversations to better see that blind spot in the future. And you can see later on in his apology video, he starts to say something and then he pauses and he says, you know what, I'm going to think about how I want to say that before I say that out loud. That's the behavior that we want to see.
Okay, can I
You're
just
more
say-
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's the behavior they
Oh
want
my
to see.
God.
I know.
Muzzle the man,
Shame.
neuter the
Shame.
balls.
Okay, notice how it never was expressed what it was that was so offensive.
Yeah.
And what exactly it was that he needed to apologize for. They keep it all in vagaries. They
The
keep it all in
harm he
vagaries.
caused.
And kind of like what Rachel said, a lot of them aren't even able to articulate what it is exactly that was wrong and what exactly would have made it right. It just offended the general sense of things that we all believe in our echo chamber. And since you imposed a different view onto that, you now need to be reprimanded. But it always stays in these vagaries.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just
Brittany.
want to, for the record, nothing that Jared said in that video caused me harm as a woman. This woman does not speak for me. I rebuke everything she says. Like, I want nothing to do with feminists. I think they're cruel. I think they're ugly. I think they're just the, ultimate snakes. I just, evil. Just get away.
Now, I'm not a woman, but
Savage. Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not a woman, but I can just hear my grandma. I love my grandma. I miss my grandma. I can just hear her listening to this conversation, and I can hear her saying, "You are all a bunch of pansies. You're getting harmed by what this guy is saying. Like, cowgirl up a little bit.
Seriously.
Like, good grief, you're harmed. Like, you're not people can't harm you by just talking. That doesn't harm anyone.
Well,
Doesn't
words
harm.
are deeds.
Oh my
come
gosh.
on.
It just-
Like,
my
No,
grandma,
but this is the thing. Like you were saying before, Brittany, when they start losing an argument, they pivot to personal attacks. When they just say, "Well, what you said was hurtful," I'm like, "Well, I didn't say anything that wasn't accurate." Like, if they can get you to back off something like it was hurtful, it's like you're admitting what you said was false, but what you said wasn't false.
Yes,
So
right, correct.
it's like, well, I guess that's your issue.
Yeah.
careful because you're
Because everything
representing
that I said was factual.
because you're representing the gospel of Jesus Christ in public, and when you and he didn't totally apologize. Poor Jared,
guys.
but it almost makes it sound like you're apologizing for the gospel of Jesus Christ, and you shouldn't do that.
but
Feminists
let's
are just mean, bored girls. Like, they just are. Like, go get a life. Go get a hobby.
Hey, you're harming me. Brittany, you're harming me.
I'll do some more harm. Like, I'm just getting started.
Okay, well, let's notice the modus operandi here, guys. This is how they muzzle truth tellers. Now, it is a fair argument to say that how you say things can matter. So do your best to speak as Jesus Christ admonished us, do unto others as you would have done unto you. All right. But even as Jordan Peterson says in 12 Rules for Life, okay, the other Bible for some people, okay, that always tell the truth, right? We have to tell the truth. Well, you'll notice if they don't like something you say politically or socially, they will lambast you and flog you with what you're saying causes harm, which is a completely subjective argument. And they keep saying what you're doing is causing harm, what you're doing is causing harm, what you're doing is causing harm, until you come to the table and be like, okay, well, what did I say that was wrong? And then they got you. And then the negotiation starts, where I won't stop saying that you're causing harm until you at best stop talking, or at worst agree to filter through me first what you're going to say next.
Yeah.
In 1984, what was the torture scene that the government put upon the main character? When they finally caught him, they asked him, what is 2 + 2? And at first he said 4.
Right.
He stuck to his guns and he said 4, right? And they tortured him. So the next time he said, what's 2 + 2? And he said, I cannot lie, it's 4. And they torture him again. And he can't bear it anymore. So he starts saying, what's 2 + 2? And he says, 5. And they torture him again. And he's like, I don't know how to make these people happy. What's 2 + 2? And then he says, I don't know, 1. And they say, incorrect. They torture him again until finally, when they've beaten him, what did he say, Jonah? When they ask him what's 2 + 2? He
Honestly,
says,
I don't remember. Anything you want?
no, he doesn't even oh, actually he did say anything you want. I think that's
Okay,
actually
yeah.
one of the things that he did say, but they tortured him again after that. He finally said, I don't know. And it wasn't until he started saying, I don't know, that the state stopped torturing him. And that's
Wow.
what these people do. They say, you're causing harm. Until you agree with my politically charged position, transgender or gay temple ceilings, body positivity and the word of wisdom, communism and the law of consecration, whatever it is, if you express an opinion, no matter how well spoken and articulate and kind, they will say your opinion is causing harm. Okay, well, how can I reduce that harm? Well, first off, can you take this out and you can take that out? Well, I don't know if that's true. You're causing me harm. What, do you want so-and-so to hurt themselves? You know, and that's just this negotiation of giving a mouse a cookie until finally the people say, it's not even worth podcasting. It's not even worth posting my opinions online. That's how the activism works. That's how the ex-Mormon subreddit brigade works. That's the modus operandi. And we need to empower our fellow podcasters, our fellow opinion speakers, our fellow truth tellers, knowing, Jared, you are not alone. There are people that will back you up. The church office building's full of beta cucks that won't, okay? But we will. You speak truth, we'll do it. Rachel will. Brittany will. You don't need to grovel in front of the Cyclops. You don't need to lie until you say, I don't know what 2 + 2 is. You know what 2 + 2 is. You didn't say anything wrong. Stop bowing to the mob / the 1984 torture people.
Yeah.
Now, we just heard the church office building rant, so we need to change the sign. And also, we have in the Discord a comment from someone in the live chat, palate cleanser. Remember, we have a lot of antis watching, so we just need to point some of these out for the antis.
Yeah.
Also, got a lot of hate for the garments episode last week. A lot of hate for the garments episode, telling us that we are hurting the church, we're terrible for the church. So we just wanted to point out here a little chat we got from Wolf. Wolf says, I'm a newly baptized member. Big thanks to all of you at Ward Radio. Your work has done wonders for me and helped me find a church to plug into and build a better relationship with Jesus Christ. Wolf, we are thrilled that you've taken upon yourself the name of Jesus Christ through baptism. We hope that you find your way to the temple, because Jesus Christ instituted temple ordinances and rituals during the 40-day ministry, which the evangelicals don't know about. It's a big secret. Don't point it out to them. They get kind of testy when you point it out. We hope that you get to go to the temple and make more covenants, and that you can represent Jesus Christ and be forgiving and kind to everybody. You're part of the pit crew. You're not a racer on the track anymore. Now you're part of the pit crew. You're helping everybody else to love themselves and to be better. Welcome. We're so glad we could be a part of your journey.
Okay.
W's in the chat for Wolf.
W in the chat for Wolves. We have a 5-minute warning here before we got to go. Rachel, it's literally like 1 a.m. where she is. And so 5-minute warning, guys. I'm going to burn through a couple of these super chats. Babe, can you read the last super chats that you see until you see no more?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I will scroll as far to the top as I can.
Okay.
So that's Jerry Grover. is the first one I
Okay.
see.
Start out with Jerry Grover and read all the way down, and then I'll catch us up from before
Okay.
then.
First off, hi, Jerry. Okay, he says, problem with Halverson is he has the classic condescending kind of know-it-all BYU religion professor personality. He may be a nice guy, but he is just off-putting in his preachiness. Just my 2 cents.
Oof. Oh, what? I don't think that's his intent. I think he's a good guy. Pure as the driven snow. Dare I say, Jerry, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for this super chat, man. Jerry's a great guy as well. I think they're all great guys around, all great guys around. And I think sometimes we associate that kind of, they do adopt a nomenclature when engaging in didactic speech that is very easy to misinterpret with kind of the know-it-alls. I don't think Jared's that way. The only real almost everything that I know is Jerry Grover himself, actually, who seems to know everything about everything. And we are grateful for your super chat, my friend. Continue, Brittany.
Okay, Polynike's 2000 says, no, we can't work with this. There is no negotiating with psychos, feminists, or terror. Can I say that word on YouTube?
Terrorists,
Okay.
yeah.
Halverson should bring Jacob Hansen to this 2-on-2 session.
Ooh, that would be intense.
Oh.
And there would be a lot of Ronald Reagan t-shirts on that basketball court for that team.
If I'm not mistaken, he's doing the episode tonight, right?
Who's doing an episode?
Oh, no,
Jared
wait,
Halverson.
Wait, he's going on?
Yeah, he's going on with them.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know
in case
when it
people
is.
missed it, he's going on with them.
I thought it was sometime this week.
Was my understanding.
Hey,
I don't
we'll,
know.
we'll look
Man,
into it while you
no.
read the super chats. Keep going.
Okay, Mag Larson 7 says, I was a USMC captain. I worked with the top 1% of women in the world. I saw feminism destroy women's minds, bodies, and souls, trying to be like men instead of being feminine, which most of them wanted.
Ooh.
Boom!
Rachel, is that your experience with all those military guys and girls?
Actually, yeah. My next door neighbor. Well, I shouldn't disclose that. She's like pretty impressive career, and she just got out early retirement. Oh darn! And she couldn't wait to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, cool.
Now, while
logging out.
Rachel's getting her camera
Sorry,
back,
I'm logging
everybody
out.
Quick,
It's all
swing
good.
Wait,
over to
wait,
Women
hold on,
Priesthood
Rachel.
and subscribe.
Did Rachel leave?
Her camera battery exhausted.
What's up?
Oh, okay. Well,
Sorry, I'll log in.
there's a super chat from Angela, and she says, Rachel is my hero.
Oh, thank you, Angela.
Yeah, we're shutting her down.
Thanks,
If you got a jam, you can jam, Rachel. Your battery's exhausted. You are amazing. Thank you very much. We'll read the last of these before we go. Heather Hunt said, "Oh no, sorry, Kurulam." Pauline Nikes. Ethan C says, "Mission Prepper would love a video about teaching people without any religious background and." Or Jews/Hindus. That's actually a really interesting idea, Ethan C. And we're going to engage in that because what we've noticed also is there's a huge advantage in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints over other creedists. There's plenty of beautiful Protestants and evangelicals and Catholics out there that we have great ecumenical relationships with, but something we've always felt uncomfortable with is how a lot of evangelical anti-Mormons also have a very big anti-Islamic bent. And what's very interesting to watch is how they have such difficulty explaining to people from other countries that don't come from the West the Trinity. Like, how do you explain a God that has no body but has nothing but body and is everywhere but nowhere but is also steaming? Like, it makes no sense to these people who are not already corrupted by the power dynamics of Protestantism in their faith. Explaining it to Muslims, explaining it to Hindus, explaining it to Shintos, Taoists, Buddhists, children.
To anybody who isn't already,
Whereas we just say,
hypnotized by it.
God is your Father, He loves you. Jesus Christ is His Son. And the Holy Ghost is how they speak to you. It is that simple. Now let's move on to lesson 2. Like it's very, very interesting. Angela Lewis says, Rachel is my hero. Oh, sorry, I got that one. Prepper's Apprentice says, Halverson did nothing wrong. I'm ready to rename this podcast. Halverson did nothing wrong.
Wait, did nothing wrong
except for
before or
apologize.
after?
Yeah, he did not. Oh, Halverson did nothing wrong. ... except apologize. That's gonna be the episode,
Based.
right? So, LDS response says LDS wives who submit to their husbands are loved and happier than the pride-filled feminists. Change my mind. Oh boy, that's that would cause a storm. Then Pauline Nike says, no, we can't work with this. Oh no, we already got there.
that.
Okay, so we are all caught up.
Yes.
Now, Jonah, is there anything that we missed, my man?
We missed that the church has donated another medical unit in Ghana just recently last week. Just with all that money that we have from all these Exmos tithing, we can just go around the world and help babies in hospitals just all over the place. Sorry, were we talking about everybody converting and getting the priesthood and getting baptized and building hospitals? I don't know what these antis came here to hear.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
That's what's going on in the world.
So, Brittany,
we like Jared Halverson. He's a good guy, but don't ever apologize to the Cyclops, man. If you're preaching the gospel, which you are, and you're good at, don't apologize for it. You know
and you're
what
not
you said
crazy.
is 100% true.
Yeah, the feminists will make you seem like you said something wrong or that you're crazy, and you're not crazy.
And you didn't do it.
He's being gaslit. Like,
Seriously,
this is the
what
epitome.
they always preach against, they are themselves doing. Oh,
What is anti-Mormon rule number 2?
I don't
First
know.
is they always fulfill scripture. Sorry, they only fulfill scripture. They never refute it. And 2 is they always accuse you of that which they are woefully guilty of themselves. It's either 2 or 3. And I said it earlier in this podcast. And for people that ad nauseum speak about harm and gaslighting, how much harm have they done to this poor old man? I'm sorry,
Seriously.
Jared. Jared, I love you.
But he's not that old.
He's all gray hair, bro. Like,
hey, back off gray hair. I've
okay.
been gray since 25.
Sure, you're not old till
Hey,
you
I'm
start
getting
acting
gray
like
too,
it.
Jonah.
You're,
A
okay,
little coming on the sides.
you're not old till you start acting like it. But at the end of the day, they're not going after Kwaku, who's well versed in cancel culture.
He would not take it.
You know what I'm saying? They're not going after you, me, Luke, people that can brush this off and at best contextualize it, at worst say screw you and forget it, you know?
We also have an army behind us, and we're pretty good at demon slaying. So
yeah, rock on, dude. Brittany's salty today. I like it.
Feminists really bug me, dude. I can't.
Well, cruel feminists do, and this is cruelty.
When I say feminists, I mean the cruel ones. Yes.
Okay. Brad's not here, so I have to represent Brad.
No, I was like, what are you, Canadian?
I have to represent Brad, And Angela Lewis again gives another super chat saying, Rachel is my hero. It looks like it was said twice. Thank you for all your super chats. Okay, guys, so before we get out of here, thank you very much for all of your
May I say my thing now?
Oh, yes. Sorry,
From
Luke,
an hour ago?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. This better be good now since I've been waiting for so long.
Yeah, for real. I apologize.
All right.
Luke.
Well, Jared,
Wait,
you probably aren't going to watch this. Jonah, stop interrupting me.
It was a joke. I'm kidding.
Okay. Jared, if you're watching this, I know it's later in the stream. Most people don't even make it to the end of the stream, but I have a number of very impressive women that I interact with, from homeschooling to dealing with severe medical issues to my wife being currently 7.5 months pregnant to being a early morning seminary teacher / instructor. All sorts of things that they're doing. A young women's president while also homeschooling, while being a dance instructor. And they're beacons in people's lives, especially the lives of their children. And people like Julie Hanks, when they come out and say that women need positions of power or it's not good enough, what she's saying is being a mother is not good enough.
Facts.
Or doing the other things that you are doing in your life is not good enough.
Yeah. The way you are currently is not
yes,
enough.
And some of these women are getting that message from her.
Facts.
And they're trying to fight against it. Andrew Klavan, a conservative commentator at the Daily Wire, he always in his episodes is saying how amazing motherhood is, how essential it is for society, how the work they do is beyond anything that he does as a world-renowned mystery writer. And every time he says he goes out and does events, people come up to him and thank him so much for standing up for women and femininity and motherhood and being a wife. And he says he's always surprised by it. Like, I'm just saying basic facts. Why is that so impressive? It's because out in the world, they're not getting that message. Yeah. You were trying to give them that message in that short, in that Instagram reel. You were giving them that message that so many women need, and then you backed off of it. And then you submitted to Julie Hanks, the very person who is making them feel this way. And I'm not comfortable with it. And I think you should go back to being a support for those women who actually want to hear from you and actually want to get that support from you, as opposed to these emotional terrorists. All right, I've said my piece.
Hey, well, it seems like your piece is mirrored. I just noticed somebody threw this up in the Discord. Shout out to all of our mods in the Discord as well. They work so hard making sure that our Discord functions well. In fact, I'm going to give them a shout out before I read this, because I can think of all of them by name now. I mean, there's Blood Track, there's Samuel, thank you very much. There's Charlene, there's Ethan. You, Jonah, help out with it all the time. Is there anybody else that I'm forgetting here?
I didn't hear your list. You got Alicia.
There's Alicia Brown. She does an amazing job. Samuel, Charlene, Ethan Fawcett, Blood Track, and there's you.
It's Emperor Blood Track. But
it's Emperor Blood Track. Okay, cool.
Careful. Yeah.
Well, if you guys go to the Discord and you check it out. Oh yeah, there's Fog Defense. I forgot. There's Fog Defense. So if you guys go to our website, you can join our Discord. Click on the very top link there. You'll be able to join the Discord just by clicking on this link. It takes you directly there. And somebody just posted this in the Discord, and I noticed it, and I thought it was worth just bringing up, because it looks like you're not the only one, Luke. This one right here by you put this in,
goodness.
Brittany.
I just remembered. I'm silencing my wife. She sent something in. She watched these as well. Couldn't be here because I'm out here. She's taking care of the kids and being pregnant.
Okay.
She had something to say too. And now that gives us 3 women and 3 men on this. Perfectly
Okay.
balanced, as Julie Hanks thinks all things should be.
Okay.
She said, "This week, Come Follow Me talks about the armor of God. Brother Halverson got so focused on do no harm that he dropped the sword of truth. Jesus was hated by the world because he taught the truth. The work women do, even if not recognized by the world, is so important."
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joy. It looks like V Sapertus 777. Don't know who this guy is from Adam, but he said something that seems truthful to me. Says a sincere apology is laudable when needed, but you said nothing in your prior post that warranted an apology. To be a peacemaker does not mean acquiescing to the vocal critics of the church, the spread of feminism within the church, and I would say toxic feminism, just because a lot of people don't know the difference between regular feminism and toxic feminism. But to be a peacemaker does not mean acquiescing to the vocal critics of the church. The spread of toxic feminism within the church is a threat to the community of saints. Candidly, I've lost some respect for you because of this unneeded apology. There is a shortage of men who are willing to stand up for truth.
Yeah.
Rough.
Now, Jared Halverson, I imagine he's going to be a lot like that bear in the meme. Carden, can we bring the bear back up?
Yes.
Okay.
This is
This is
hilarious.
Jared Halverson after spending a week with the feminists in the woods.
Yes.
Okay, can we see this?
So here's our boy. All right, here's hold on. Oops, I pulled it up in Discord. I meant to pull it up in. Oh, come on. I did it wrong. I've got the nuns with the guns. I've got the Cyclops
nuns.
image. I've got the kneel before me meme. No, where's the funny bear? I don't have the funny bear. I'm going to have to pull it back up again. No, hold on.
Pull it back up from the Discord. This is the bear after spending a week in the woods.
Here we go. Here's the bear.
With all the women. Here he comes.
There you go. They were so mean. I know, buddy. I know,
buddy.
They were so mean. That's funny. And it should say the toxic feminist, because women are beautiful. I'm married to one, and I'm so grateful that I picked the best one. Jonah is grateful he picked his. Luke is grateful he picked his. And
It sounded like you were hesitating when you were saying that I was grateful.
I was trying to make sure that
Joy is such a toxic feminist.
Yeah,
Really...
Joy is definitely the most likely to go feminist out of all of them,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
You know, that's the joke. That's the joke. That's the joke. The woman that's probably feeding chickens while halfway on her way to owning the farm. You know,
7.5 months pregnant.
She does really want chickens.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, thank you very much for hanging out with us, guys. Anybody whose name has been invoked here is welcome to come on the show and chop it up. I can handle liberal. I love liberal. I am liberal in many regards. Not all, obviously, and it depends on how you define it. But I just can't handle toxicity. So, however, who have we invoked here? Julie Hanks, you are invited on the show, and it is done publicly. No name spiritual, no nonsense spiritual. Whew! Same there. And who else are we talking
Jared
about?
Halverson.
Jared Halverson. Yes, Jared Halverson. All are invited on the program. If you guys want to support the program, please make sure you check out our merch store. Purchase a War in Veteran Heaven hat. Also, it's interesting we talk about this. Antichrist Playbook is on sale at Plain and Precious Publishing. You can get a discount for that book if you use the discount code WARDRadio10. Okay. Or wait, no, Ward Radio, just Ward Radio for Plain and Precious Publishing. Also, while you're at Plain and Precious Publishing, make sure you do what? Jonah, what should they do while they're at Plain and Precious Publishing?
I don't know. There's nothing good there. I'd get out of there as fast as you can.
You'd get out of there as fast as you can. Well, if you go to Plain and Precious Publishing, you'll notice that they also just published a really cool book called Key to the Keystone. All right, I'm going to put it up on the screen. If you go to their catalog, you'll notice Key to the Keystone is there. The book written by none other than our very own Jonah Barnes. Again, you can receive that book also at a discount for Ward Radio. And last but not least, if you guys want to support our channel, make sure that you purchase a shirt. We got all kinds of cool Ward Radio merch, much like the ones that Brittany is wearing right now. If you are a person of means, please consider a generous contribution through Venmo or through Zelle, or in this case, Zelle or Venmo. And as we say, and also one last push, Amazon wish list. We've had all kinds of people making all kinds of cool contributions. purchasing different things and small items on our Amazon wish list that have been super helpful to the production of this show. If you guys want to help us out, links to that will be in the description. As always, for this and more, please make sure that you guys check us out at wardradio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement. I'm gonna fly it to the moon. This supersonic is amazing. You're gonna feel my sonic boom. I'm flying higher and I'm never coming down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me. We brought the funk into this function. Yeah. We show up dressing to the